What is up, everybody? Welcome into Pattison Ave Phanatics. I'm TK. No, I'm not. I'm Big Al. TK has a scheduled loss today, and his loss for not being in studio. I'm Big Al sitting in with the whole crew here at Pattison Ave. Guys, what's going on?
What's going on?
What's going on, everybody?
Happy Saturday.
Yeah, it's a little early for me.
Tom's looking for Rudy Rudiker. He's in Arizona.
Did he find him yet?
He's stalking Arizona State University
That's
for Rudiker.
Keep stalking because it's not going to happen. But, guys, there's plenty to talk about. The Sixers have kept things alive. I guess we get a good way of putting it. On a little bit on life support for my taste, too much on life support. I would have thought it'd been a little bit more aggression from that team yesterday, but we'll get into that in a second. But real quick, let's thank the sponsors that make today possible. Let's start with Fantees.com. 20% off using the Edge of Philly promo code. Check them out. Go to Fantees.com and support your favorite Philly team. Don't forget to grab a sweet EOP hat to pair with that. $19.99 plus shipping and handling. You can message us directly on all our social media and our EOPsports.com. The awesome network here we got the boys over at the Broad Street Bully Podcast, Birds IQ, and Philly Press Box Radio, and of course myself and the other guys on Wednesday nights, 9:30. Check it out, Joe, Fred, and myself. We try to do a good job. It's been a little different over the last few weeks because the Sixers keep throwing us off, but it's okay. Mm-hmm. It's okay. And don't forget to head over to PhillySportsTrips.com. PhillySportsTrips.com has all your Eagles sports trips ready to go for your divisional as well as the further away ones. And the big one, of course, is the Vegas trip. Check them out. You can create your own bundle, whatever you want to do. If you want to go buy the tickets through them, your airfare through them, you want to do your hotel through them, figure out what you want to do. Check it out, PhillySportsTrips.com, and they have a ton of other options out there for you. All right, guys. So the big news is Game 7, Father's Day, of course.
Here we go.
Happy early Father's Day to all you out there all you fathers out there and all the fathers in the studio.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
But let's forget you guys. That part's over.
We don't count.
Yeah. The next thing we have to talk about is last night's Sixers game, and let's break it down section by section. I'll go around the table and I'll start with you, Dave. Okay. The anemic start. Give me your first feelings. The first 2 quarters of that game.
First 2 quarters didn't look too bright in the first 2 quarters. They came out a little sloppy, but once they got themselves going, got themselves going. It was they didn't panic. That's for sure. They didn't panic going into the second quarter, because they were down a little bit, but they did come back and they made it interesting in the third. So
it's funny, Al. My wife, she loves the Sixers. She's a big watcher. She watches all the games as well. So she came in last night. My son was coming from practice. Anyway, she said to me, "How did you feel about the first quarter?" And I said, "I'll tell you later." At this point, I think we were in the third quarter. And I explained to her, I said, "I was okay. Here's why. Being honest, I felt good. I wasn't great because we were down, but I have a thing. If we don't give up 30 points, that's a good sign.
Absolutely,
right?
Yeah.
So we gave up 29.
It was moral victory.
Moral victory. We were down 7, but we were coming back, and then we tied it up 29-29.
Right.
And they went on their run, and then so by halftime we were down 47-51, and I went out my back deck. I sat out there, and I just with the trees, and I go, okay, what's going on? And to be honest, I was okay.
I was too.
I
felt good being down 4 at half. I really did because that's where I figured if they came out in the third quarter like they did, and they had a shot to really put this game in in an interesting way.
What it was, they kept the crowd out.
That was the whole thing. They keeping the crowd out of the game, and that's exactly what they did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, as I said, that third quarter was huge.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I am impressed, but feeling fortunate. The way that game started, I felt like, okay, are we just trying to not play down right now in the first half so that we don't jump all over them and then repeat history again and again? I was like, okay, well, maybe if we're down at halftime, maybe we'll actually come back. Like, maybe that's the situation.
Let's reverse it.
Yeah, like reverse psychology.
Yep.
And my thought process was, especially at halftime when I saw the score, I'm like, the first team to 100 is going to win this game.
I thought the same thing, Joey. I did.
Yep.
I did.
Because I honestly
yeah.
felt like with the way the defense was playing, and the Hawks have kind of surprised me a lot because their defense has come out very aggressive the last 2 games.
Sure.
They are trying to stifle some of the sets that we're typically adjusted to being in, whether it's getting Joe the ball at the block or getting Ben the opportunity to run free off of the baseline. Stuff that we were able to do on a frequent basis during the season and even a little bit during the Washington series.
Well, do you feel they're taking away from that, Joey? Do you feel like they're taking Ben away from that, taking a break, doing breakaways like he normally does?
I think they're taking Ben away in a way where he's not being allowed to run free. Because we're doing too many high pick and rolls, like high screen rolls. Whether it's Joe or Ben, you'll see them at the 3-point line, and they're doing the dribble handoff to Seth or to Maxey or to Tobias or whomever. And I think Ben has to play in that role because we're down with Green not being in there, because I think Green was kind of that other substitute, that other player that could hold those high screen rolls, because you don't want Tobias, who's a shooter, to do your screen and roll or to be the screener because he's your shooter.
Joey, are you okay with Korkmaz being started on the starting 5? Because I'm really not. I'd rather have Thibault, to be honest with you.
I am. And I'll tell you why. Because in the beginning of that game, it looked ugly, but Korkmaz was the one factor that actually showed up. It seemed like we were pretty lethargic coming out of the gates.
Right.
And Korkmaz had, I think, 2 putbacks in the first quarter alone.
He did, yes. Yeah,
so
he did.
he had what I call T.J. McConnell hustle game.
Well, I'm thinking Thibault because of his defense. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, well, I mean, here's the thing. Defense is great, and I respect defense, but when they're scoring 10 points in 3 minutes, your defense is failing you. And I know Thibault wasn't on the court then, but at the same time, you also need to respond.
Okay.
So you have to then weigh what is more important, holding them back with the hope of being able to, eventually crack into the scoring, or is it let's put our weapons on the court and see how we can respond to their initial burst.
Okay.
I mean, I think for me, like I said in the article last night, it was just like the biggest elephant in the room in the first half was Troy Young,
He was.
Because it was just like he just couldn't be stopped, And it's just
for his size, he's amazing. The things
dude,
he can do. It's just really,
I mean, when you
I hate his face, but
I do too.
it's like it's like the same kind of thing. It's like I hope tomorrow, like I was telling my dad this, that I hope he has a graduation on the morning of Game 7.
Well, we were saying the same thing about Westbrook too in Series 1, if you remember, because we weren't fans of him either.
Yeah, sure.
And so we're like,
Freddie Burns is chiming in here, and I think this is going right to you, Joe.
Oh,
Joe.
Here we go.
Joe, that's on Ben, dude. Come on. He is struggling big time on offense. The free throw shooting got him all messed up in the head. Huge block on Trey, though, from the 3.
It was huge, Joey.
And we're going to get into that in a second, because I believe this. I'm not believing. I know this is TK's saying here. Are you impressed with Ben Simmons, Joe?
Survey says.
Are we going to start now? Okay.
Here we go,
right.
Joey.
Me and Joe had a preempted fight.
I was going to let this go until we all kind of analyze the game, but all right. So my biggest criticism of Ben in this past game was that he didn't mentally check back in. He got 3 fouls put on him, ticky-tacky or not. Yeah, the way that I was saying it during the game, I was talking out loud, but the way I was saying it during the game, don't let the refs take the game.
Right.
You take the game. Don't let them control the game. You have to control the game. I felt like Ben, when he had 3 fouls put on him, his aggression went down because he all of a sudden...
I got to pump the brakes on that. Did he ever have it last night? Because I don't remember even before the 3 fouls. He was not aggressive. He was... If all that team... and I can't just put this on him, but he was anemic too. He was one of the guys who was very anemic throughout the whole game. Yes, then the 3 fouls did not help. Were they ticky-tack? I'll agree with that, yes.
Somewhere.
Somewhere at least 2 to 3.
Yeah.
And they were kind of BS in a lot of ways. But
And Capella flopped on one of them.
Yeah, well, yeah,
A lot.
He earned himself an Oscar on that one.
Good acting job on that one.
Yeah.
I think the one thing they need to do for the next game is like since they're hacking Ben, they got to hack Capella. I mean,
I've been saying that myself because
I didn't think about
James
that.
is so right. There was one play they hit Ben, and the camera caught his face like cringed,
right?
and you could almost hear it.
Yeah.
He's not getting calls.
He's not. Well, a lot of them aren't getting calls. I mean, Joel got like choked out by Collins.
What was that about?
I have no idea, but I didn't know
If that
WWE.
was
I
him
didn't know
going at the Trey
Caught
Young,
an offensive foul.
Hell in a Cell is on Sunday.
yeah.
I didn't know we were playing by WWE rules.
if that was him
in the
doing at the
NBA.
Trey Young, he would have been thrown out of the game.
I understand
Guaranteed.
something. When you
course.
have, and then the fact that Lou Williams is like complaining that he falls off of being pushed with Dwight Howard. I'm like, then don't go up against the guy who's like outweighs you
7
by 100
foot.
pounds.
Exactly.
Right.
Like,
Yep.
what the hell is your problem? Like, you're a veteran. You should know better than that. But
Jesus.
to get back to what Al's saying about Ben and what everyone else is saying, look, this is a guy that can get. He's not all. He gets in his head way too much,
Right.
but the athlete in him is there. The talent is there. If he can get out of his own freaking way sometimes, I feel like he would be a superstar. I feel like sometimes he gets in his own way.
Which is a big problem.
Right,
And
but here's where I contend and contest a lot of people who want to get rid of him. If you break through that code, and get through to him, this is a guy that could unleash a lot of different mismatches and opportunities for his team. I mean, I said this on the group text. The defensive player of the year, Rudy Gobert, got scorched by a second-year guy or a rookie last night in L.A. But Ben Simmons had to guard and when he has guarded Trae Young, he has stifled him.
The other thing that for me, like, and this is to my friends who listen and watch, like, please do not. I had a good buddy of mine, I love him, calls me last night, and everyone knows I don't talk during the game. I just my thing.
Neither do I.
And so he calls me at half.
Except to the TV set. But
Except to the TV set, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Always the TV set. And my wife and my son hear me scream. But anyway, he calls me at halftime, and he's like, I know you're not watching the game, but I just wanted to, and I just heard the message this morning, ironically, right? And he's like, we got to get rid of Ben Simmons. First of all, I'm in the middle of a playoff run. We're literally in the middle of and you're talking about changing the roster? We have a chance to go to the finals.
Yes, we do.
That bothers me.
You're right
now,
about that.
Joey and I are probably the only two
Probably in Philadelphia.
who's sticking up for this.
No,
young
I
man.
stick up for Ben.
And I'm not
Simmons.
saying you, and none of you guys are wrong, right? You're not wrong. I can't speak for Joey on this. I just have a little bit more patience with him because Joey's right. If you tap through that code, it's hard to give up a guy because give him up for Dame Lillard. Okay, what does Dame Lillard want? Right. You're not going to get that defense from Dame Lillard if it was to happen to Al. The other thing is, he's just such a unique player to kind of just part ways. Now, he has to do his part. I'm watching him at the free throw line. Dude, you're 6'10". You have to bend your knees just a little bit more.
I agree.
I swear, I'm telling you, the Sixers hire me. You don't have to pay me. I can get this guy right.
Well, he was 2 for 4 last night.
100%. I agree
Bend
with
them
you.
and hold it. Embiid does it. Embiid
Right.
gets. I'm not saying do it that to that extent,
Right.
but just enough.
They always say, and I go back to something that was said a long, long time ago, and I don't recall exactly who said it, but I remember who it was said towards. It was said towards Ben Wallace. And it was about the fact that he shoots free throws with his shoulders and his arms, not with his legs.
Oh, yeah.
You shoot free throws with your legs.
Absolutely.
You do not shoot with your arms and your
Absolutely.
legs. I mean, your arms and your shoulders.
Right.
And I know that sounds asinine, but it's the truth. Dame's right. Like a couple of the best free throw shooters, you will see a nice bend in their knees and a nice release from their hands.
Hold
Rip
that
Hamilton,
follow-through.
Chauncey Billups. You can go. The list goes on and on.
Stockton.
Yeah.
I can see Stockton bending his
Even
knees as we speak.
Jaminsky was a good foul shooter back
Right,
in the day.
and you have to understand.
Embiid's a good free throw.
Oh, he's
shooter.
very good.
Yeah.
Let's understand something. I am. This is where I am with Ben. Ben currently is placed at the point guard, and I think he sets up the offense. But I think primarily I think primarily he's more of a power forward. That's
Wow.
just
Well,
my,
Yeah, but
Listen, the position.
I'm sorry,
a big thing. I've been big thing on his position. But here's my worry, and Fred said it just a few moments ago. I had it up on the screen. He said, you could criticize Ben and not want to trade him, because that's the thing is I think everybody in the world thinks if you criticize him, you want him gone.
Right.
but that's what always
had people
follows.
say-
A lot of people do,
I've
and
had a lot of
you're not
people say
wrong.
that.
People said
But
I want him out of here.
there is a
During the
contingency, and I
playoffs.
am probably one of the. I'm not saying trade Ben for nothing. If you're going to trade Ben, it had better be an upgrade.
Get something for
And
him.
listen, it's going to be hard to find somebody who is a defensive player as good as him, but it's not going to be hard to find somebody who's an offensive player as good as him. So do you have to play the? Do you lose a little skill
Well,
in the game? But hold on. But here's my problem with him. My biggest problem with him is you kept bringing the code up. Like somebody's got to crack the code. And I'm going to be a little cheesy here. The only person who can hack Ben is Ben.
It's Ben.
I agree.
Right.
Yep.
And that is where I worry because and if it was just he was shooting with his arms and his back versus his legs, that's something that's a mechanics thing. That's something that anybody can fix.
Sure.
But when you think your mechanics are fine and everything else is so good that you do that the other stuff can go to the wayside, that's a problem.
Yeah, but how
that's
do
where I
you-
have a problem with anybody, any player. I don't care if NBA, any player. It is a problem. It's when it's a head problem, and I get it. He's young. I get that a lot. I understand that. And I also, you did the comparison to, well, when Embiid was, not playing and everything. My difference with that is at least when Embiid was playing, he played. Ben can play as many games as he wants, but if he's going to hide Ben, then instead of hack a Ben,
Hide a Ben.
Hi to Ben.
we're gonna
Hide a
be
Ben.
we're gonna. I have more
Ben?
I have
We're
more
gonna hide a
problems
Ben.
than that
Yeah.
with that
Send
than
it
I
to
have
hide
the
a
other
Ben.
way around.
Hide a
But
Ben.
here's the
Send
thing.
the hide
Sitting in
And
the corner.
and I understand that argument. I do. But here's the
Hide a
thing:
Ben.
is that the patience that we've shown with Embiid, especially early on, because we knew what the return was going to be. And I think that some people are just saying, well, Ben doesn't want to fix Ben. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true at all. And I'm trying to understand where people are getting that. Because I also remember when he had the, 2 for 12
Yep.
free throw night? He went in early and he made sure that he tried to fix it that day. But you have to understand, and then people's criticism, well, why is he doing it now? Well, you asked him to, goddammit. Like, what the hell did you want him to do? Not? Like, what the hell did you want him to do? Not do it? Like, he does it, we're going to rip him. He doesn't do it,
Yeah,
we're going to
he's-
rip him. So you're damned
Either way,
if
he's
you
get-
are, and you're damned if
Either
you're
way, he's
not.
getting ripped,
So,
Joey.
Joe,
It doesn't matter.
Is this your first day?
It
as a
doesn't
Philly
matter what
fan?
you think.
No, but
just
I'm
wondering.
saying, I'm saying,
Acquiring minds wanna know.
I'm saying he wants to work on
That
himself,
was awesome.
and he gets ridiculed that
Why is he
doesn't.
doing it now?
All right.
Well, we said.
Why is he
I'm
doing
sorry.
I've said this for years, for the last few years.
Go ahead.
You can show me all the Instagram videos of him shooting threes or taking jump shots or shooting free throws or whatever it is. But when it comes down to the game, and it's the eye test. I'm big on the eye test.
Sure.
When I see a guy who is trying to stay away from the ball on the offensive side, and I said to you earlier, when it seems like it's a 4-on-5 when we're on offense, that's where I have my problems with him. When you're trying to dish the ball out when there's a direct lane to the basket where for an easy layup or slam, there's times he's in there and he looks like, and you see him go for the slam and he's coming out and he's flexing. He's like, yeah. Where is that all the time? Why is that not there all the time?
Because
That's
he's not
my
getting the
question.
breakaways that he wants.
I think he's
all the
inconsistent.
time. No,
That's the thing.
right. He's not getting the breakaways he used to get all the time.
You were saying, I'm sorry.
In the series.
No, you're good. I just said basically. I think the thing with Ben is just that. I think he's just like the foul shooting is just terrible.
It's
you know?
atrocious.
It is.
Just
It's
say it.
By the way,
And by the way,
he went 50% last
He was
night.
2 for 4, Joey. We get it.
Joe,
Take progress, baby.
you're a stats guy. Look at the
bounces.
stats over the last 3 years from him. His free throwing has gotten
I know.
worse.
I saw the group text.
Significantly
It's
worse.
regressing. We get
I
it.
saw the group text. I understand.
So my question, Al raised a good point. He flexes and does this when he. So what happened? I don't know if this is towards Doc. Where's that guy in the third quarter of Game 3? Where's that guy who was posting up, getting the double teams?
Right.
Now, is it a thing of Danny Green not being there?
I think so. That's what I think, too. I think with Danny
You're
Green not
telling me
there.
Ben Simmons isn't being Ben or any other player isn't being them just because Danny
No,
Green's
no, no.
on the
The
Yeah,
reason
but
why I
Danny
raised this
Green
question-
sets the pace, though.
no,
So
Ben sets the pace.
No, I get it,
Danny
but I'm
sets-
saying, but Danny Green can do a lot of things on
Yes,
the court,
I agree.
lethargy.
and he,
which makes Ben a little can do get free more. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
I think the foul trouble is really. Then one of them I was like, Dad, did you do that deliberately? Like, did you get in that extra foul just to get pulled out of like that? It's all that runs through my. Here again, I'm a fan.
Made Doc Rivers' decisions easy.
Well, here's the other thing. Here's the other thing, and I'm not ready to go there yet because I'm still in the playoff run. But that guy last night may be your future point guard. I don't know.
Who, Max?
Yeah.
Yeah, and here's why I'm saying that.
And that's one of the reasons why I moved to the power forward idea.
So what's happening is
Maxey at the point guard.
We were saying Shake and Maxey, though. We were talking about that. Remember in the beginning of the series, it was Shake, and now all of a sudden it's Maxey.
You have to understand.
Shake's not Doc needs instant offense, and this kid comes out
as bad as people want to say Ben played. He still had 9 rebounds. I mean, so that means he can still play the 4.
Listen, Franny's here, and I don't usually. I've known Franny for years, and I usually don't agree with him. But I mean, this is the point. This is what makes the Ben Simmons conversation the Ben Simmons conversation.
Right.
Kind of in a nutshell. Still, with all that said, our run in the third quarter was directly related to Ben's number one skill, and that's it. He is so good at one thing. That it's hard to want to just get rid of him before all the other weevils that he has.
Yep.
And that's it. If he wasn't that good, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like playing NBA 2K or any of those games where you could create your player and you can add skills if he's fast, endurance, and then but you only get so many points and you got to move it around so you can't max this guy out.
Right.
And it's like, okay, well, this is what Ben looks like right now. You know, his defense is up here and his offense is down here. And that's where the conversation is. If you were to move on from him, which I don't even want to talk about moving on from anybody at this point until it's over.
Right.
I don't know about you guys. I feel they're going to win on Sunday.
I think
they're going to go to the next series. I worry about the next series because if they come out even a percentage as
gassed,
lethargic, whatever term you want to use, as they have been over the last few games here. It's going to be real quick.
It's going to be a 4-game sweep.
No, honestly, what scares me, going back to Game 5, I'm afraid of Sunday night being a repeat of what Game 5 was.
You know, I say the same thing because I was listening to Anthony Gargano after the Game 5 loss, and it was just like, did that really just happen?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's just
a 26-point lead.
Yeah.
You had going into the third quarter, fourth quarter?
Yeah, 18
18
in the first.
Okay, I get it. Okay, fine. But
still,
I'm saying
loss,
you guys can't tell me that a repeat could happen Sunday night.
Well, the thing is, the big fella talked about that last night.
Okay.
I don't know if you heard his post-game press, and he talked about that. And he's like, I'm paraphrasing. Basically, we blew that 18-point lead in front of that crowd. We can't do that again.
No.
Here's what I'm looking at. I know everybody's ready to discount them for the next series. I believe they're going to win them all. I actually think, strangely enough, and it's weird when you watch playoff basketball, this team prepared them for the next 2 teams. Reason why I say that, if you look last night.
Take your lumps now.
Well, in a strange way, we all went in thinking they were going to sweep. I called it 4, maybe 5. Obviously, we were wrong. 7.
Yeah.
So,
We all
but
said 5.
they're one-dimensional 3-point shooting team.
Clearly.
Most teams are in the league, right? The Nets, and then you have the Bucks. So I think that now obviously those 2 teams are better than the Hawks. I'm not saying that.
Sure
at
they
all.
are.
But it just gives you something to look at to go, you know what? This is how we're going to have to play this. And I love their pace last night when they slowed down.
Oh,
they
they had
ball.
Yeah, absolutely. But if you're going to this game Sunday night, okay,
Gotta blow them
you
out.
can't tell me that you're not going to thinking, here we go again for Game 5.
Well, if you go up early, everyone's going to be thinking that in the arena.
People made the joke is that, they were down 4 at the half.
Right.
Was it the fact that they were down instead of being up significantly? Did that play in the favor of the mentality?
It could have
of the
been.
Sixers?
I think,
because you're hungrier to come back.
Come back, sure, then great.
Versus being up by 26 and taking your foot off the gas pedal. I mean, I was literally like, I feel like my wife thinks I had like a seance in my basement last night because I was chanting kill.
It cracked me up last night because everybody was like, I think I was the only one who said the Sixers were going to win that game last night. Everybody said to me, no way, they're not pulling this off. It's over. And guess what? We're going Game 7, guys.
Yeah.
And, you know.
The thing about it, too, is like what I say a lot, too, is that like, if you have to like say, okay, we have it in the bag, you don't have it in the bag.
No lead is safe. Not in this series. No lead is safe. That is for sure.
Exactly.
Actually, leads are the least unsafe.
Exactly.
The Clippers proved last night as well that you can be down by 25 or 26 and come back and win.
It's amazing
by a
though.
lot.
It's
Florida
amazing
did that in
to me.
2010 too. With the
Right.
I mean,
Bruins.
is it safe you're up 15 with 3 minutes to
No,
play? I
well,
don't know.
But the problem, they
Beat them by 30. I don't
Hey,
care.
call it a day. I get it,
went
Joey.
away
I
from
get
what
it.
Got them there. When they start hero ball. Listen, I love Shake, man, but he gets the ball. He did it last night. He's dribbling around to nowhere.
Yeah.
You have to move
Yeah.
the basketball.
Yeah.
You're playing the same team.
Exactly
They
right.
they know your tendencies. They know when you're going to sneeze. They know when you're going to they know your tendencies. So you have to play in a really smart basketball and dribbling the ball to nowhere. Get you nothing. So you mentioned with Maxey, he comes in the game, he has a plan. I'm either scoring or I'm passing. The kid had 0 turnovers last night.
I mean, I'll tell you this, Dame. When I used to play
And he played some good
basketball,
defense.
And he played some good
and
defense.
I
Yes, he
play
did.
against guys
one of my
that
favorite
were
players
much
on the
more
team.
athletic than me
Yeah.
on the court, and believe me, there's a lot of them out there. I used to say
The water boy?
they're- yeah.
Okay.
It's all when they used to just dribble but not go anywhere, like
Yeah.
you're saying. I used to say it's all show, no go.
Yeah.
because you're all show. You got all these cool dribbles, but it's like you got $100 million, shine, but a nickel finish. It's like you don't know how to get to the cup.
I'm looking at it like this. If I'm Atlanta, I went into this Wells Fargo Center. I took 2 games there. Why can't I take a third? Right? But then again, if I'm the Sixers, I'm saying you're not coming on our home court and winning Game 7.
Nah,
It's not going to happen.
Dude, they lose
You
this
know?
game tomorrow in Philly.
It's going to be up there with Tampa Bay
Took
and
the
all
words
the
out of my mouth.
Yeah, but you
Took the words out
and the
of my
bloody
mouth.
nail.
honestly,
in
I
St.
think
Louis.
they win, but I think
words
it's
out
going to
of
be
my mouth.
close. I do. I would- yep.
I think Daryl Morey's already seething, and just the way they've been playing already. So, believe me, if they lose tomorrow,
But did,
A lot of things
did
are
they,
gonna be
take long
changing.
for a
but
move
did they
to be
take the
made.
flat out of Atlanta last night, knowing they could have won that Game 6, going to the Eastern Conference Finals? Now, are they deflated? Is Atlanta deflated? Is my
A
question.
little bit.
I mean, if you're
so.
Atlanta, you're going back to Philly thinking, "Oh man, we could have won this thing in
If you
6."
watch the way Trey Young left the court last night, you could see they're deflated. Like
Yeah.
there was about like 2-3 seconds left on the clock, and he just dropped the ball. He was off the court before it actually.
He
struck
was.
zero.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you this right now. Like, if you look earlier in that game and he's dancing while he's on the floor, you could tell the mentality that Trey has when things are going right. But then he's a high-low guy. He's not like an even keel. When stuff wasn't going right, and I mean when stuff was not going right with the officiating and everything, calls weren't
Yep.
going right, and B just went, okay, fine, whatever.
Is Bogdanovich hurt?
Yeah.
Yeah, he got hurt last night.
Did he get hurt last
I
night?
think
didn't finish.
Bogdanovich
He
is
didn't-
hurt.
he
I
didn't
also think Gallinari got shacked up.
Yes,
shook
because
up.
when he dunked, after that dunk,
Yeah.
Joe,
he came up limping.
He came up limping.
But did you guys notice at the end of the game? Well, I think it was before, whatever it was. Did you see that Trey was actually looking at his ankle? Like he actually
Yeah,
went down.
yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know
He
that.
was flexing his
His toe.
calf.
Yeah. What was the deal with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
and
mean,
he has a shoulder
yeah,
injury.
right.
Well, I mean, listen, those things are going to happen. You're going to get
No
cramps,
one's 100%.
muscle pull,
Right.
tightness. I don't look into every little limp. I mean, look at Seth Curry. He was grabbing his shoulder in the beginning of the game.
Right.
And he
And
licked
then
it
all of a
out.
sudden,
Yo,
They-
hold on. Let's get some curry chicken, man. Come on. Are you
14.
serious?
Yeah.
That 14-row run was huge in the third quarter.
He's a curry.
Are you kidding?
His father, his
but did you see
brother?
what I said in the chat? I said,
He's a Curry.
did Stefan call Seth and say, "Let's go, kid, get it going"?
Well, he
Because
said he's going to root for his brother.
yeah, he said he was rooting for his brother. So come on.
Listen, I said to TK when he texted me when we acquired Curry, and I'm like, man, it's a Curry. I don't care who it is. It could be the grandchild Curry. I don't care.
It's a Curry.
It's a Curry.
Yeah.
I'm good as long as it's not Dell. Because I
It's a
mean, like
Curry.
we might have to
Well,
get the
Al
one.
said
Literally
earlier-
the savior
Or
of
it's
the
not
last two
Casey
games.
Al said earlier.
Last game, I mean.
Matthews.
Al said earlier. He said that Curry's keeping us in the series, and you're right.
absolutely.
You're
Quietly.
absolutely right.
Like I said, even with the loss, he put up 30. He put
Yeah,
up
he
a
put
career
36
record
the other
up.
night.
Yeah,
Although,
6.
if the NBA, and I had thought about this, and we're far away from this, but the reformation of this league, they don't have a storyline because LeBron's not there, and all these big time superstars aren't in the running to be in the finals. Doncic and stuff like
oh,
that.
Embiid's not a superstar now.
No. I'm saying
a
in
boast.
their eyes,
know
not
about
in
that.
our eyes, in the NBA's eyes. They don't like the process,
Freddie put up a good point here, and I think
but
if they learn anything, the Sixers learn anything from here on out for the rest of that Atlanta has no quitting them, and I don't.
Right.
and remember that.
Yeah,
it's from,
they
it's
don't.
from zero.
They're
It's from the
dogs.
end to the end, beginning to the end. The last second, it doesn't matter. You have to play, and maybe if anything, if they're going to learn a life lesson. that helps them throughout the rest of the series, that could be the lesson.
Yeah, and
so-
that's why I said you can't take no one for granted. This could prepare them for the next one.
I know we're away. I know we're a ways away from even thinking about this, but the Clippers and the Sixers could be on a collision course, and that's all I'm going to leave it. And
You feel like it could be Sixers Clippers finals.
So
Really?
is Kawhi out the whole?
They don't know yet. They
I
have
don't
not
know.
announced that yet.
They haven't announced it,
But
I
I'll
have a
tell
feeling
you,
that's-
last night, Harris stepped up, man. Harris, from that 4 points he had in game 5,
But that's my thing is like
24 last night.
that's where I get my hang-ups is if you have a bad game or stretch a game, whatever it is in any sport, you get in slumps in baseball and everything like that. If you try to work on it and get out of it, that's fine, and I'm okay with that to a point. I would like to see more consistency at
Right,
times.
I got you.
But it happens. I think that's another people have with a hangout with Ben. It just seems at times he's still unwilling to do certain things or make changes. I'm not saying he doesn't, because you see him at the free throw line practicing pregame. You see things like that. But there is times it looks like he's being stubborn, Ben, more than
Right.
just I can't shoot a free throw, Ben. And that's the big thing. And
That-
I know we're going to get Paul on the line
Joey,
here in
going.
a second.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Go ahead.
Joey, going game 7 and Ben goes off. Can you see it?
Yeah.
I mean, goes up. I mean, that 42-point performance he had the game. Can you see him doing that game 7?
Nah.
I
I
mean-
mean, I mean, 42.
I'm not saying 42, but I'm saying stepping up maybe
I can see a
18,
triple.
20,
I can see a
Maybe
triple
like
double.
15 or 20.
20, something like that.
Definitely
I
see a
don't
triple.
see that, and this is one of the reasons why. To like add into what Al's saying, I think part of the reason why Ben doesn't do that consistently is because he's such a team player, and maybe he needs to be a little bit more selfish. But he's such a team player that he doesn't want to be the reason why his team loses,
I hear
and that's
Can I flip that on its head a little bit?
Sure.
go ahead.
Could he also be being selfish because he doesn't want that moment to lose the game?
Perhaps.
Because even the best, have moments where we always say, the greats want the ball in their hands
Sure.
when the game's on the line. And
I'm not putting Ben as the great.
but I'm just
No,
saying.
no.
But even when the game's not on the line, but when the game's in line,
right.
that to me is also a selfishness when you don't want to take it all because you're afraid of missing the ball. Or missing the shot, or drawing a foul, then you have to go to the free throw line.
And I think
Right.
that's
you know
been-
they're going to see if you know that. I think they say, well, they have a hack-a-ben. They do it at the end of the second, the end of the fourth.
Sure.
I think they will do a hack-a-ben at any moment in time. If they see that Ben is on an aggressive streak, I'm going to be aggressive. All right, well, he's going to keep driving. We're going to keep fouling him, and we're not going to give him that layup, those 2 points. We're going to give him, because he's not an N1 kind of guy, at
Right.
least recently. So that's what they'll do. But you still put guys. I would rather see him do that early and put your big names out there on the Hawks in foul trouble early. Because sooner or later, because you saw them do it last night, they took Ben out of the game. They had to.
Right.
I'm not saying it was Ben's fault or anything. Well,
No.
kind of.
It was
can't
five.
shoot a
Well,
free
he had-
throw.
It was five.
he had
Some
five.
change in the fourth.
Yeah.
And he pulled them and put Maxey in.
Well, I did say
This after
earlier.
he made the free throws, but he still wasn't.
Yeah.
I did say earlier in an earlier show that Doc would adapt.
Yes.
He would adapt to the hack of Ben, especially later in the game. And like it or not, that's what he had to do. And I mean, here's the
He
thing.
also said at one time he wasn't going to take him out, even if they're doing hack-a-ben.
Well, he said
That changed.
He said that
No.
they weren't. He wasn't going to take him out if he was making the free throws. If he wasn't, he was going to take him out.
Right. Well, he was 2 for 4.
And like
last night.
that's the thing is, but what I'm also saying with the Ben thing, as far as like not hurting his team, and the lack of maybe confidence. If it's a hack of Ben, if this is me, I'm saying okay, play me off a screen and roll. They're going to hack me as soon as I get the ball, or even before, like as soon as we inbound. Give me the ball. Let me try and attempt to shoot a 3. That way, I'm at least getting 3 free throws instead of 2.
Right.
And if I make 2 out of 3 or 1 out of 3, whatever. But at least it gives me a higher percentage.
Sure.
Plus, the thing that irritated me is when they did the hack-a-ben, it felt like his body language, he was like, okay.
Yeah.
Dude, I'd go there and be like, okay, thanks.
Piece of cake.
Yeah.
I'll take 2 free
Uh-oh.
throws.
Yeah.
Getting a phone call.
Yeah, so I got on the line here, the other missing piece right now, Paul Spencer. Paul, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Happy Father's Day.
Hey,
Happy
Paul.
Father's Day,
Thanks,
man.
Paul.
Happy
Appreciate it,
Father's Day,
man.
So hopefully it'll be a very, very happy Father's Day, and we'll be
Absolutely.
celebrating, sitting, drinking our beers, eating our barbecue, doing whatever it is we're going to be doing, following a Sixers victory.
Yep.
So, Paul, why don't you give us your breakdown, what you saw from last night, your points, your takeaways?
Well, I got 3 words: Curry, Harry, Harris, and Maxey. That's. I mean, it was a great game. I enjoyed the win. That's first and foremost. But I know Joey's over there. He's with the Sixers. He loves his Mr. Simmons. But to me, he's got to be more aggressive, man. I mean, you're paying this guy $30 million. Yes, he brings defense to the table, but he has to be more aggressive, especially going to the next series. But I'm not even going to talk about the next series. Let's just get this game win tomorrow and move on. But I think it was an eye opener. The Hawks, you can't sleep on a team like that. It's house money, but I think this was an eye opener for the Sixers, saying, "Hey, nothing is given. We got to battle every night."
You would hope that the other losses were eye openers, but like I said, I think the big takeaway they can take from this it's from start to finish. It's from beginning to end. Whatever cliche you want to throw in there, until you hear the fat lady sing, it's not over. And Atlanta plays like that. Atlanta, and they're very sneaky. I mean, even the other night, Trey didn't look like he was having a great game, and he somehow snuck in 30-plus points.
Williams came
It was
out.
a quiet 30-plus points.
Yeah,
it was.
so like
Very
that
quiet.
can happen on both sides.
Sure.
Like it can, like Seth Curry. Like you don't notice Seth Curry until like you notice Seth
Until
Curry.
he hits 4 in a row. You go,
Yeah.
oh, wow. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And then he becomes aggressive with it. But going back to Ben, which is the topic. There's so many things with this young man, but one of the things that I like to see happen tomorrow, and Paul, you'll speak upon this. There are games in the regular season. I recall when he started the game, he was aggressive, right, Joe?
Sure.
He was going to the basket, sometimes getting the N1, and they've gone away from that, like throughout this playoffs. I was hoping they can get back to that just to get him going. I think Tobias has his mojo back. I think he was adjusting to Bogdanovich and Collins on him, but he figured it out. So
I think he
I'm
needs
not
to.
worried about him.
Yep.
But I would definitely like to see Ben tomorrow. One, I want the victory. Let's start with that.
Yes.
Let's get the win first. A big game from Joe, of course. Big game from Tobias, and a big game from Ben. Let's get all our 3 guys, man, on the same page tomorrow. And yeah, give us a nice Father's Day. 8:00 game. I don't like night games, but I'll take it tomorrow.
didn't we
Get the primetime game.
Well, didn't we talk about that? It won't be a 1 o'clock game.
Nah,
we're
I don't
not
like
up
1
yet.
o'clock. I don't like 8
We-
either,
yeah.
but I'll take it.
At least we'll be up by 8 o'clock.
You're up by 8 o'clock. Yeah, exactly. Nah, that's cool. 8 o'clock is good tomorrow. That's
Paul, I was going to ask you. There's a question. What we saw from Joel, I mean, he was missing shots. He seemed, I don't want to say checked out or anything. He just seemed deflated. Is a good way of putting it. I mean, is that him being tired? Is that him playing like putting up with what he had to put up with the team around him? Or should we be nervous that maybe Joel is getting a little tired, a little too early in the series?
Well, I mean, I think it's a lot of both. I mean, Embiid has put this team on his back pretty much the entire season. I mean, there's a reason why, he was an MVP candidate, but he should have won it. But I mean, the game's missed. But he could be gassed. But I mean, it's a team game. It's not all one person. There is no, the cliche is there's no I in team. But I think he is a little bit gassed. I mean, the fourth quarter, but he's doing his job. He's looking for others to score. But I think if it comes down to a game 7, which we are in. And even if he's gassed and no one's really shooting the ball, Curry's not there, Harris is not there, I think the man's going to dig deep into his pockets and win this game for him. I think he's a little winded right now. That's what I see right now from him.
Can we get a consensus if they are somehow up, 10, 15 points at the half or something, or at any point this 4 bench rotation
Hold your breath.
with Tobias Harris at the helm can just go right to hell? Can Doc Rivers?
Yeah.
I mean, it has to stop.
I don't think it's
They
gonna happen
bring it in-
again.
Bringing in 2 or 3 guys, and leaving and Tobias wasn't having a great couple games, so you left him on an island with 4 bench players, and he's not having a great game. So what does that mean? Like, I don't get that. Like, all right, take out Joel, let Howard play a little bit, let Seth get a couple minutes to breathe, put Maxey in, whatever it is you're gonna do. put Thibault in for Ben, but not put everybody in like this whole 4-man rotation
Right.
with Toby at the helm.
I think that time it was some foul trouble. Let me go back to something Paul said. I often hear people say this. I don't think Joel's gas in the fourth.
You don't?
Nah. I think when people see him hunched over, it's pacing himself. And people take that as, and I could be wrong. I can say that. I could be wrong.
Sure.
I think it's just
I'm
some
never wrong.
just some getting his breath. The other night when he went 0 for 12, Joe, he had 21 rebounds.
He did.
Right.
Yeah.
So people go. I cannot like overlook that. Right. That's work. And
Oh,
that
yeah,
lot to get
sure.
21 rebounds.
I'm not overlooking any of those stats because, in my opinion, 21 rebounds means that at least more than half of them could have been offensive rebounds to
Right.
give
Yeah.
guys second chance points.
So when people say he's gassed, like he's doing the same minutes that Doc's had him on pretty much the whole season.
I think because he
goes out-
looks gassed. Like that,
When you-
we don't know for
but
sure.
I'm saying when you say he looks
we
gassed,
can't
give me an
tell,
example.
though.
like when
Yeah,
he-
so when he
like,
give me an example. I'm being honest.
when he's bending over and he's just like he's holding his knees and just sitting there like is he?
So you don't think that's him just gathering himself like, yo, I'm just going to take
Well,
that time.
yeah, that's a good
could be
point.
gathering thoughts too. I didn't even think
No,
about
I don't
that.
necessarily mean gather. I just imagine he could just be like, I'm getting, recharged. Like that.
Right.
That's part of the ball.
I mean-
see, 'cause I always say it's easy for me. I'm sitting home drinking a beer, but these guys are under the lights and
Right.
sweating and running up and down the court. And so to say he's
Dude, drinking a beer is not as easy as you make it.
dude, that's
seem.
work. That's right.
lot of
That's
work,
work,
yeah.
right? That takes the.
I mean, looks can be deceiving.
16
I get
girls,
it.
man.
No, and
you're
I'm
right.
not saying you guys are wrong.
No.
I just kind of look at it a little bit.
It just looks like he's
differently.
exhausted. You see the sweat coming off of his his
He
nose.
did play 4
He
quarters.
looks
man.
yeah,
really
he's exhausted
exhausted in
face.
game
Yeah.
5 or game 4.
Yeah.
He said-
If
he said
you
he
see
did
me
look
doing
exhausted.
warm-ups in
I think he
basketball,
does
you will
look
see the same
exhausted.
sweat coming off
I'm
my
not
nose.
saying you're right.
So I can't hold that against
I mean,
him.
running up and down the court.
I just think when people say it's as if he doesn't have anything to give, and I'm like he's
I don't think he has anything to give. My worry, and James, I'll ask you, is there's plenty of times beginning of the game and end of the game that he was missing Embiid typical shots that he would make.
sure.
And is that more the deflation aspect, not so much the being tired aspect in your eyes?
I think it's probably like game 4. He looked really exhausted. Like that game, I'd never seen him. I mean, I think the other
That's
thing.
the 0 for 12.
I think it was like 0 for 12. Yeah.
yeah.
And that was a terrible game. And then I saw him like miss 2 clutch free throws
Yeah, after making
in
20
game
runs.
5. And I was like saying, yeah, something. I mean, probably that hamstring's probably still bother him. Who knows?
I don't know if it's. I honestly don't think it's a physical aspect.
I don't either.
I think
I-
when
I
you
don't know what it is.
I think he had he put a lot of pressure on himself too.
Sure.
To be the best. And
Right.
Paul, maybe you could tell me a little bit about it. Like, do you think he puts a lot of this stuff has been pressure when the team is not playing well, that he feels like he has to put the game on his back and, not to steal from Dwight Howard, but be Superman?
Right.
I mean, I think it is that. I mean, he is the team. I mean, he's the face of the franchise. We pay him the big bucks. He is the man, and I think he takes it mentally where if he can't do it 100%, he's looking for the other players to do it. But if the other players don't step up, I think it's a mental block. Not a mental block, but we're not talking like a Simmons free throw mental block thing. But I mean, I think it is a mental block with Simmons. But I mean, I think Embiid, to Damon's point, I don't really think he's 100% gas. But what gets me is a lot of times when Embiid gets the ball, what I see is he'll take a play off where he'll come down and just shoot a exhausted three.
Okay.
For no reason.
Yeah.
I mean, that's to me where that's his only downfall. I mean, just go down the block, give the ball to the other person, but just get the rebound. Don't exhaust all your energy. Just get the board.
No,
but,
Paul.
like you said,
No, I'm sorry.
21 rebounds a game is great for me. I'm fine with it.
No, Paul, I agree with that. Now I will say there was a couple of times, and I'm gonna go back to something Al said too when he asked you the question. So there's a couple of times when he's taking that jumper, you're like, yeah, man, you could go on the block a little deeper and even call a reset, right? You know what I mean, James? And then you'll get the ball in a better position. But what happens is, to your point, that exhaustion could play, and he's like, I'm just gonna throw this, not throw this jumper, but just take this jumper. Going back to last night's game, right? So Al touched upon this, his frustration. If you recall in the beginning of the game, we were down, I think it was like 14-8, whatever it was, 14
Yeah, something
6
like
or
that.
whatever.
Yeah.
And you can see, and they called the travel on him, Dave,
Yep.
where he was trying to force that play and go right through Capella. And it's like, big fella, take your time, slow down, trust your teammates. Doc said that. And I think he was starting to get, but somehow
Right.
He eased back in and started trusting the players. He even admitted it.
And I think the other two too is like he was like probably a little bit too excited. Like,
Yeah.
Because it's just like like my friend always says, like that's like when somebody's like that playing that bad is like, yeah, I know he's excited, but you have to just control the game a little bit more. And probably Doug's just saying, calm down, it's all good. We got this in the. I mean, and Embiid. I mean, that's the thing too is that maybe tomorrow we'll see the aggression of Embiid like turn into like how Embiid supposed like the MVP Embiid.
Let's hope.
Yeah.
Yes, I think you will. I think you will.
I'm praying too. I might have to go to church tomorrow for.
See, I feel like Embiid is exhausted,
Dude, you guys are throwing him.
You think
today,
he's
man.
physically
You guys are
exhausted?
fire.
Yes.
I love it.
and I'll tell you why. They say that.
Hold on, guys. Because you know what? He's not agreeing with you. I love it.
So
Surprise!
the reason why
I'll take it.
I feel like he's exhausted
Yes, sir.
is because they say that with a boxer, the first things to go when they start to feel fatigue is their legs. And Embiid's been
I
falling
thought that was women. But I'll keep going.
only in your case, Al. Only in your case. But here's the thing: is Embiid has been falling all over the place.
All year long.
Well, more so in the last couple games, whereas I felt like in game 1 and 2, he stayed on his feet, and like you're saying, Dame, he took his time and planned and he played his game. He didn't get overly tired or worn down.
Right.
And I feel like now he's forcing the issue and getting exhausted, and he's like flopping around. And me and Tom had this conversation year 2 or 3 that Embiid actually played basketball, is that he was trying to make moves that would get this guy hurt. And we said he's not being athletic, he's being very clunky.
Right.
And now it seems like he's being a little bit clunky again, like he's losing focus with what he's able to do. The first 2 games, if you saw, he was relying a lot on the block. He was sitting right at the block, and he was making he was punishing Capella on the block. Right. Now he comes down the floor, and he sits at the top of the key or right around the three-point line. Not to say that he's never done that and whatnot, but I think that could be a sign that he doesn't want to go down to the block because he doesn't want to do more work than he needs to do right now. Like he's trying to conserve himself because he knows he's got to play the whole game.
Right.
Or he's got to play a significant amount of time in the game.
Well, he's playing 36, 38 minutes a game.
Yeah, he
Come
played
on now.
38
It's
minutes.
better than it was.
Yeah, right.
But my point is that knowing that, if that's in your mindset, that you have to have enough gas to go at the last 2 minutes, you're not going to blow your load, so to speak.
Well, that's where Doc comes in.
Right, but here's the thing. You're not pulling your star player off the court,
Right.
regardless of how he feels. Like, that's the thing. If you're only up by 2, I don't care how exhausted Embiid is or how he feels, Doc's not going to pull him off the court.
Right.
No.
No. And it looks like he's also trying to draw the foul and the flopping around, like you kind of said, and it's just not going his way, which I think is also equally frustrating. Because, and I'm not, like I said before to you guys, I'm not one of the ones usually to blame the refs a little bit, but last night
They were pretty. They were
So-
pretty.
so-
so
so
some of
rough.
them are egregious.
So I'm going to ask you a question then. So we get to the free throw line in the first half 3 times.
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
I didn't think we got it out there at all.
And the
doesn't
Hawks
seem
got
like
there
that.
like
I thought it was the
No,
fourth. I thought
actually-
it was the fourth quarter.
Well, they said I think it was 85% of the free throws or more were made in the last 7 minutes of the game than the rest.
So how
of
do
the
we
game.
get
I
to
was
the
gonna
line
say
20
that, 'cause
times in the second half? I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. I said basically, like I said last night, I think it took around the 7:07 mark.
Is that what- is
to
that-
make the first free throw?
Right.
For the Sixers to make the first 3.
And I think that's because they were pressing at that time.
Right.
They weren't pressing in the beginning. Like I said, very lethargic game. They were kind of just playing off players. They're moving the ball around, trying to get the quick shot in. Hence why a lot of them weren't sinking. They weren't able to set themselves and shoot. And so they weren't giving a chance for the other team to foul. And Atlanta was playing kind of some smart basketball at that point because the Sixers weren't hitting their shots. So they're like, all right, well, then we'll just let this kind of happen. But at the end of the game, the second half of the game, especially that fourth quarter, now it's coming down to it. The Sixers are up at 1.4, 5, 6 points, and then Atlanta starts pressing because they have to. They had to press. The game was getting a little tighter now.
Yeah.
The realistic idea that we might lose this game was starting to sit in the Atlanta Hawks.
Right.
The
Well, I
strength
think
that-
when they went up 10 after the one Curry 3, I think the Hawks were like, okay, wait, what just happened?
Right.
They pulled to us?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, all of a sudden we're down so much because they're hitting threes on a consistent basis? I mean, it was kind of, at one point, I think the Sixers went like 9 for 13 from threes in the fourth quarter
Yeah,
or something
yep.
like that. And it was just like, or the third quarter.
It was third quarter because
Yeah.
Curry was hot, man.
Curry went
Curry
off.
was hot.
And-
Indeed.
Couldn't stop him.
And I just thought, okay, so for whatever it's worth, you're talking about the Hawks, who are a predominant, like Dame said, predominantly a three-pointing team. That all of a sudden they're getting their dose of their own medicine thrown back in their face. They didn't see that coming, honestly. And, you know, they were like Al said, they were kind of like, okay, now we have to play.
Right.
And they cut it down to like one
Yeah,
at one
74,
point.
73 when Trey's 3.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
That
like
was it.
that was the thing is
And remember,
like,
a lot of those fouls also came from the Hackabend too.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I want to go back. I don't know if James could touch upon it. All of a sudden, I didn't even realize they were in a penalty.
Yeah, they were.
I
Yeah,
swear to
yeah,
God,
yeah,
you know
yeah,
that? You
yeah,
had that
yeah.
same
I
feeling?
same feeling. Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
they're in the penalty?
Uh huh.
The Hawks,
Yep.
like in the fourth.
Yeah, they were in the fourth. Yeah.
I found it despicable that with the whole Collins Embiid thing and the Trey Young scuffle, I felt it despicable, like this cop out that the NBA has of double technicals. Who's getting? What's the point? What is the point of double
Okay,
technicals?
so let me start with the first thing of that play. You have a he's 7'2". He's not 7 feet.
Curry shot this well just to go there.
But you had a guy 6'5" on a 7'2" dude who gets the ball, Al.
Right.
Al's knocked a few people out in his day. I already know. I see it in his eyes with his elbow. I know he's done it. Right? Right?
Sorry, Joe.
So but he's coming to, he didn't, now if he intentionally did that, I would say, wow, that was intentional. But what do? I'm trying to make the basket.
Right.
He just happens to be 6'5", I'm 7'2", and my elbow took. You know what I mean? Like, what do
Yeah.
you do with
Just
this?
because his
And
face
they called
is
an
where my
offensive
elbow
foul.
is.
They call an offensive foul, James, and then this guy comes and kicks him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Joe's
Collins-
not
Collins,
backing
yeah,
down.
yeah, no,
But give him
Joe-
credit for being
Yeah,
smart.
he's
Thanks.
smart with the arms out. But if Joe just sat there and looked up like
I
this,
said to
he
Al-
probably would have got
Al,
the
if he
technical.
swings,
Right.
that's it.
He's not playing tonight.
I said to
Or
Al
tomorrow.
earlier. I
And
said,
we
thank
might have
God he didn't
lost
touch
last
him.
night.
Yeah.
Because if he touches him,
We're done.
he's out. He's done.
I give him
Right.
credit, man. See these guys
Yep.
in the moment. See, we're sitting here
Yeah.
talking sports, and we're like, I'd have knocked it. No, you can't.
No.
Well,
You can't do it in there.
No, my
No,
thing, no. And honestly, it would have been even better if he just sat there and just as soon as Collins kicked him, just looked up at the ref and been like,
But did you see
Yo,
Collins' look, man? He was
that made-
petrified. He was
that-
scared to death when he came after. He was like, "Don't
Oh,
touch
yeah.
me."
Oh, yeah, yeah.
He's like,
Home enough.
And then
He's like hugging him like, please don't
And then
hurt
here
him.
comes Trey out of nowhere. Trey, are you trying to get killed too?
Yo,
Come on, dude.
He was He's like
I'ma
Ralph
tell you-
Crandon and
Right.
Honeymooners.
I'm gonna tell you guys something. If
Shoe
Ben
fly, don't
Simmons,
bother me.
was Ben on the court?
No, I don't think so.
Not
He was.
that point.
If Ben was in that game, he'd have grabbed Trey. Remember Ben? Who were they playing? And Ben hit.
I think Trey getting involved is just comical altogether to me.
Yeah,
So that's just-
Trey, you're like 5.
Five what? 5 what?
5'11".
11, 10?
6 foot.
Come on, man.
What, 60 maybe?
Soaking
Yeah.
wet with bricks in his
Soaking wet
pants.
with bricks.
I don't know if Paul.
And you're looking at Joe out like, are you kidding?
Somebody said it like Paul. I don't know if it was you. It would be like just like scraping gum off his shit. Like, I don't know.
Exactly.
Like what were you doing? You're not moving that dude,
No,
man.
Joey, to go back to your point, I think the double technical was fair.
You do?
Yes, I do. Because if we don't get that call,
Yeah, you're
think about it, Joey. If we get that technical foul and it goes on unbeaten what he did, we could have lost the game. It could have lost the game.
Yeah, but it's a call, non-call.
Right,
It's
but-
like
What-
offside. It's like having 2 offsetting penalties in the NFL.
right, I get it.
I was gonna say,
But would you rather it go against us?
Yeah, it's just a double. So
what I'm
wait,
saying.
No one gets a free throw.
Right,
basically.
exactly.
That's what it boils down to.
They're pretty much saying Embiid should
like
have
a
got
warning in
aggressive with him,
baseball,
even
right?
though
Right,
he
it's a
got-
war.
I
It's
like
a double,
Al's take.
pretty much a double warning, Joey. Come
I
on.
like Al's take. If Embiid sits there and go,
He just
Rest.
kicked me. Yeah, he just kicked me.
just
Right.
kick me, what would have happened?
Even if nothing happened, even if they didn't call him, and because they were missing a lot of things,
Sure.
you're still they'll be taking notice to this now.
that.
Sure.
I think. Listen, I like the fact how he handled it.
I love
He's like,
how he
I'm gonna bull rush you.
I'm just glad he didn't touch him.
Look at no hands. Look at my no hands.
My hands are here.
Look at my no hands.
Because the rule is what you,
Collins like grabbed him and was like trying to hug him like a boxer, like in a grip, and I'm like,
Yeah, he was
dude,
nervous.
what are you gonna do?
He was scared.
Right.
What are
He
you
was scared.
doing? Like,
Wow.
if he's like, look, I ain't touching him. I swear.
But
I
I'm gonna
ain't
push
touching
him
Right,
back.
but I'm gonna push him back.
I'm pushing him back.
Paul,
But Collins was petrified. I mean, just look.
Paul,
Man.
Paul, what did you think about that whole situation?
I give him big credit. Just like, I mean, we sit here, we watch the TV. Like Damon said, like if somebody pushes me like that, I'm gonna get the hell up and knock this dude out.
Well, you would.
I'm throwing my elbows. I don't care.
Paul,
But,
Paul,
I
the Sixers
give him
couldn't afford to
credit,
lose
he
you.
backed
Though.
down. He put his hands up in the air and he walked toward him, of course. But I don't think I got scared of was he walked toward him. And knowing this NBA with this BS,
Yes,
flagrant,
Paul.
Right.
whatever,
Paul.
thing,
Yes.
that's the only thing that scared me. But I give the dude credit. Like, I know in the back of his mind, he was like, I want to squash this little guy. Like, put gum on the bottom.
Exactly.
I would have cracked him.
Yeah.
I would have cracked him.
Anybody see the picture out there? It was the guy who wears the sixth man jersey? Older guy
Yeah,
with the white
yeah.
hair. He was like right there. He was on the other side of the basket.
yeah.
Like he's like,
Does he
don't
have-
worry, guys. I'm gonna come in and
Wait,
fix
Does that guy have tickets for every game?
Dude,
I
that
think
guy's
he goes- I think he
loaded.
goes-
He's like
How does he
Forrest
pull that off?
He loaded.
He was sitting
knows
for
Josh Harris,
courtside
too.
Atlanta. I'm thinking,
It helps to know
He's
the
loaded
owner.
with capital letters. That's all you need to know.
wow.
Yeah, and
Stacked.
and
It's like, every game he's sitting there. I'm like, dude,
let's be honest, Atlanta Hawks tickets go for like $12.
I
in the free
get it.
Oh, they went up into the playoffs, $13.75.
$13.75.
But yet-
Yeah, man.
No mustard on your hot
That
dog.
includes
Right.
the beer, though.
I get
That
it.
includes the beer. That includes. They
Still.
threw that in as a
With the
promotion.
beer. With the beer.
I thought he was a part of the Sixers or something. My God, he's at every game.
He's like Spike Lee.
right, yeah, exactly. He's at
Yeah,
every
this
game.
guy might be Buco
Well, I
Bucks,
get it.
yeah.
I understand that.
And
But
listen, going to an Atlanta game, like when I was younger and had no family, no wife and kids, so I could get up and go. I mean, my buddy's like, "Hey, Phillies are playing the Braves in Atlanta this
Oh,
weekend."
yeah.
back in the Al Single days, right?
Yeah,
Right,
and
right.
I'm telling you, no, we were looking 15 or 17 years ago.
Okay.
You could get 3 tickets to Atlanta game. I think I paid $80 for 3 tickets, and I'm
tickets,
talking.
wow.
I sat right up on there.
Nice.
Like my beer's on the top of the dugout, like
Yeah,
that
man.
close.
Wow.
And to get in the car, drive down, it's like
12 hours.
To Atlanta?
10, 11 hours.
Took 13 hours.
Yeah.
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 And sometimes I took. And you know what? This is when Southwest was like a new thing. I went to
40
Phillies
bucks.
Pittsburgh games for $50.
Yeah, I was
Right.
about to say,
For
yeah.
you could take one-way flight for $50. It's literally a 45-minute flight will get you there. It was.
not bad.
I mean, not to the fact
Wow.
that they're like, all right, we've hit our 50 or 30,000 feet. You can unbuckle now. And then like 2 minutes later, they're like, all right, buckle back up. We're
We're
descending.
descending, yeah.
Like it's like.
Yeah,
And
those are
Atlanta was like it was
Right.
like an hour. I think the flight was like what's like an hour and not even
They
an
have a
hour.
cool
and a half.
airport in
Yeah.
Atlanta,
Yeah,
too.
hour and 20 minutes.
I got to bring this up, guys. Hey, and you too, Paul. How about this? How about the lights going out in Georgia last night?
Yo, that scared me.
What was up with that?
That scared me.
That
Paul,
scared me. That reminds me of the Super Bowl back in the day of the big.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me
yeah.
of.
Paul, I got some bad vibes when that happened. I said, uh-oh.
Yeah,
This is not good.
Actually, I liked it.
You did?
So here's my reasoning.
I kind of did too.
and I'll
Beat
tell
the
you why.
punch.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
I
We're
thought,
not allowed
I thought
to
it was
agree
just
with
distraction to the game.
That's forbidden.
Yeah, stop that shit. Now we got bad juju going on in here. No, but I liked it because first part, the announcers go, well, I guess it's lights out for Philly for real.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm like, oh, well, shoot yourself in the foot now.
You're right.
And then the nah start coming out
Yeah.
from the Atlanta Hawks crowd not too long after the lights get fixed
Oh,
or
my gosh.
whatever was going
missed
on in
that
the
part. I
stadium.
don't know why I
Oh,
missed
the whole stadium's doing the nah,
What was the score at the point of the time? Anybody, Joe?
We were
Anybody?
We were still
We were
up,
up.
but it was
We were up
like
like
by 4.
We were never really down
In the second half.
especially the
No,
fourth
I just
quarter
want
more
to
than
know
the
how much
more
were
than
we
the
up
second
by?
two.
It's my
It
question.
wasn't by a lot. It was like by 4.
4
Yeah,
6, something like that.
Yeah, it was like 4
Our
6.
biggest lead was like 10.
The 10, the
Okay.
10.
And that by the with 5 minutes left in the game, I think our biggest lead was 5.
So here's my point. Thinking, okay, they can't beat us if the lights go out, right? So guess game's over. Then
Dude,
we
I
win.
thought they
Is that
was
what
gonna
it
call
was?
the game
Sorry,
like the
call
Phillies.
the game.
Is it
Call the
baseball,
game,
man?
right?
James, I thought they was going to call the game.
the game.
Baseball.
They played 7 innings. It counts.
Right,
It counts.
James, I thought they was going to call
Right.
the game like the Phillies World Series. We got to come back and play tomorrow.
Right.
Oh my God.
Could you imagine?
That's what I'm saying.
We're
Like,
not doing that.
we're losing, so let the lights go out so we know. You
Maybe
know.
if they charge $15 for the tickets, they can play their power bill.
You know. Hey, Paul, I got to raise this question to you because it was brought up last night and I thought it was a brilliant comparison. So, Paul, you remember Bernard King, I'm sure, right?
Love it, our king.
Yeah.
So there was a game, and I still do. I listen to Paul McGinnis, Tom McGinnis. Think of Paul and Tom McGinnis. So I still keep the game on the radio. But years ago, I remember listening to the Sixers game. It was the Knicks and the Sixers and Dr. J and Bernard King were going back at. I mean, they were back and forth. Bernard scores, Doc would score. Bernard King was one of the most underrated players in the league, unbelievably. And in all those years with the Knicks, and then he got hurt, and he should have. I don't think he's Hall of Famer, but he should have been. So Tobias Harris was compared to him last night.
I heard that.
And it didn't hit me until they said Doc Rivers compares him to Bernard King. And I see that.
Yeah.
Because Bernard was aggressive.
Acquired greatness.
He was just amazing. And I'm like, that is Tobias. It's when Tobias starts to think, he gets in trouble.
Right.
But when Tobias is aggressive, can't stop him.
Can't stop the
And
defense.
so I don't know how you felt about that, Paul. Did you like that comparison?
I mean, I agree with you to a certain extent. Bernard King wasn't the biggest man, but he had that hunger instinct.
Yes.
And he could shoot you. He could take you down the block. He had a little post.
He said he could shoot you. That's right.
Like, you can spare him, but it all comes down to killer instinct.
Yeah.
Tobias can be that player.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen a big turnaround from game 5 to 6 when he was a nobody in 5.
Yeah.
And then 6 he came out to be aggressive.
Right.
I mean, I like that. I like when a coach actually compares somebody and said, hey, you can be great.
Yeah.
You can be somebody. I just wish Doc would say, hey, Simmons, look at this guy. He shoots free throws. You can do it too, buddy.
So here's where I am with this, and obviously we're still in a playoff hunt, and we look to win tomorrow and move on, right? Do you give, no matter what, do you give another off season with him so he can work with a Sam Cassell, so he can work with the Doc and that coaching staff, because he has to uplift his game. It's without a doubt. As much as Joey and I love him and we'll fight for him to the end, I mean, reality is he has to step up.
Sure.
And
Absolutely.
So what do you do? Obviously, it depends on the outcome of the playoffs.
That's a loaded question. I mean, $30 million for a guy that plays defense. I mean, honestly, I know a lot of people take this the wrong way, but look, I'm 50 years old. I can barely get up in the morning. Okay, put my damn shoes on. But with this team, I think I can go out there and give you 5 assists with the shooters and Embiid down low. I mean, he needs to at least give me 15, 10, and 10 a game. You could be that guy every night, but he needs to work on his offensive game. I don't know if I give him another year. I mean, if they lose tomorrow or get a 4-2 against the Nets or the Bucks, my mind's got to be spinning. Maury's going to be probably on the phone saying, hey, what is he worth to you guys?
So my thing, when Doc came here, I said, if he can give you 2 jump shots a quarter, literally 2 a quarter, that's 8 a game. 10-foot at the top of the left elbow, 10-foot at the right of the top elbow. That opens things up, and I don't know how you get him to do that. I mean, that's really I've never seen that.
You said 8 a game, Dame?
Yeah,
6 shots.
Two jump shots specifically, and oh, by the way, you have to call the play for him. Right, you're calling his play for him.
Well,
right, you're calling the play, top of the elbow, swing around, we get you the ball, square up, and just shoot it. I don't care if you make it. I just want you to start to get that. I mean, what's wrong with that?
Here's my issue.
2 a quarter, excuse me.
With why I feel like some of the criticism with Ben is a little bit swayed, because Ben is usually the guy that's helping out, and I brought this up earlier, that he's usually helping out Embiid because he's a bigger body with the high screen rolls. He's the screener. He's not normally like anything else. So sometimes he'll roll to the basket and he'll be open, and it's up to the guy who has the ball to pass it to him. Right. Ben does go to the hole. It's not only just on Ben sometimes to get the ball, have the ball. He contributes in different ways. Now, I also feel like you're saying too, Dame, I don't feel like there's enough plays that are run for Ben specifically.
Yeah, I want to play devil's advocate. Do you think there's a point for that? There's a reason behind there's not that many plays.
Do you know of many players in the NBA that when Ben Simmons is at full pace, full stride, do you know many players in this NBA that can stop him?
No, and that's why I get upset when he doesn't do it.
Right.
But
I mean,
is he not doing it, or is he not getting set up to do it? That's the question.
Here's a comparison real quick. Okay, the Greek Freak is not great at free throws, But the man has size just like Simmons, and he attacks the rim no matter what. His free throw game sucks, but the man, he has a jumper, and he attacks the rim. If Simmons would do that, just put his head down and get to the rim, and just knock down 50% of his free throws, the man could average 15 to 20 a game without a doubt. But he doesn't have that. It's a mental block with him.
That's where
But see, here's
where the frustration comes. I gotta agree with Paul.
But here's the thing:
it's nothing. He gives you nothing on the offensive side. I wouldn't care about free throws if he would do other stuff, and vice versa. If he was like an 80% free throw shooter and he wasn't taking jumpers, you could learn. But he was being aggressive and drawing the foul. Right. That's the thing. Is like he gives you nothing.
I understand what Paul's saying about Giannis, but I also feel like Giannis, kind of already when he drives to the hole. He almost has a tell before he even drives to the hole. He backs up 3 steps, and then he goes. Okay. If I'm a guy who's a defender for Giannis, and some guys have done this, they just plant themselves as soon as he takes those 3 steps back. Because he's driving. Like, my feeling is...
Milwaukee's offense is soft, too. We know what they're about.
Right. But my feeling with Ben, if you have a guy that... you have Ben come off of a curl, and you have someone like... a Curry or an Embiid that hands it off to a Ben on a curl and Ben's at full stride, who's jumping in his way? I mean, that's my point, is there's no place set up for that. Right. And I've also mentioned earlier is that, like, Ben loves playing off the baseline. Mm-hmm. And he's had to play off of that strategy because Danny Green's not there as a high screen roller. Because you're not going to put like a Korkmaz as a high screen roller because he's going to get knocked down.
No.
Have we heard anything on Danny Green at all? Do we know what's going on?
Yesterday was a week.
Was it a week?
Yeah.
Okay.
He gets reevaluated on Monday.
Okay.
I have a feeling it wouldn't be till like
Joey, let me
Wednesday.
ask you this with Simmons, okay? Just like you say, okay, yeah, Giannis has a tail. He backs up, which I do agree. But the man, he says, you know what, I'm going to take my 2 steps back, stop me. But the problem is with Simmons, he's not even aggressive. Right. The defender plays off. Like, he's at the top of the key. The defender goes down to the free throw line, knowing that, you know what, you're not going to get that steam to blow by me. If he takes that shot, just like Damon said, 2 shots a quarter, I don't care if you make them or miss them. At least attempt it to spread the field a little bit more.
I used to use the comparison to people who put the Sloman Shield on their front line. They don't have the security system. It's just enough to make some people honor it. Just enough to scare you off.
Do you guys think that if Ben is afraid to shoot because he's afraid he's afraid he's going to get booed off the court if he misses a shot?
Getting booed anyway.
Well, either way, but I'm saying
I'm going to put people on the hot seat because I need to understand.
Is it an embarrassment though? My point.
Dame has said 8 shots from Ben a game.
Okay.
Al, what say you? How many shots do you want him
to be taken?
I said jump
you
shot,
want
2
to
jump shots
see
a
him
quarter.
take?
You're saying jump, so you're saying like 10, 12 footers, that type.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'll play for him 2 a quarter.
I like his square hook that he does though. I mean,
that's not a 12-footer. That's
but I'll take that all day.
Okay.
I'm good with it.
In all honesty, I'll take anything in this sense. But if it's driving to the lane and doing a layup or a hook shot or any of those type of shots, whatever it is, I just want an attempt. There's no attempt. None whatsoever. And that is a problem. That's where I get to this. It's 4-on-5 when the Sixers are on offense.
Right.
Because it is literally, I made the joke earlier, but it's true. If you look at this game, there's points where you could have paused the game from yesterday where he had the ball coming up and every defender went away from him. Yeah. Because, you know what, at that point,
but they double team him once it goes in the key. Once he does drive, he does get double teamed.
And that's fine. And then dish it out. Then shoot your assist out to that's
right.
To carry.
Look at the Hawks. How many times you see Trae Young trying to get around? He circles around,
right to his spot.
throws it right up to somebody at the basket. You know.
But so you're saying that Ben doesn't drive enough to get double teamed to kick it back out? He doesn't do that enough.
He kicks it. It's awkward almost. Like sometimes I feel like have you played basketball before? It's not smooth. It's not fluid in any which way. And he kicks it out way too late or very awkwardly, and it's not a crisp pass. It's not great. It's not pretty. It's not pretty at all. I'm saying is there's no threat of him scoring.
Right.
Almost zero threat.
Do you think, and this has crossed my mind several times, I've raised it to you guys, because he's ambidextrous, and there are times I've seen him shoot with the right hand.
I've seen that too.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Is that affecting him? Like, because to me,
See,
I'm wondering, like, should you try your free throws with your right hand?
If you have too much, Is it too much? Like if you
Yeah.
have too much,
and I'm
We
not,
don't have to guess.
I'm not.
You're
I'm not.
left-handed,
I'm
you're
not.
right-handed.
I'm not.
Get over it.
I'm not
Right.
comparing my son to him at all. But my son plays ball. My son is right-handed, but people often ask me, is he left-handed? Because he dribbles with his left.
Right.
Like he'll go from one end of the court to the other with his left, and then switch and make it with
So
his
can,
right.
can he go to his left?
Yeah, he dribbles with his
Oh,
left.
okay, I'm saying, but- okay.
Oh, can he shoot with his
Yeah,
left?
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he can shoot with his left, but for whatever reason, he just chooses to dribble with his left hand.
Okay.
And it makes it hard to defend. Now, again, I'm not. Please don't. But for him, because his right hand is his strongest hand, he's going to shoot with his right hand most of the time.
Sure.
In Ben's case, I'm only just kind of trying to figure this out. Because he can shoot with both, is that hindering him?
Could be.
Could be.
I don't know. 'Cause
I mean,
I've
could be
never
too
seen
But
this.
that's
where someone wants to
where the
shoot ball.
coaching comes in,
Right.
and that's where Ben comes in.
Right.
You know, is that part of the Simmons code, as Joe affectionately calls it here?
The code.
Like he has to figure. Like there's where he has to sit there and crack his own code. But if he feels like that's what it is, then play dominantly with one hand. It's not even like. I get that. If he was going up
And
and,
I'm just
making
trying to-
these weird ass
Yeah.
hook shots that weren't going anywhere near the basket,
Right.
I would be better with that. It's the lack of anything.
Right.
The devoid of a shot, the devoid of putting points up, it's infuriating.
No, so reason
Yeah.
why I'm
Word for
asking
it.
that, no, because you're like me. I'm like, I've never seen, like, when you first get a ball, the first thing you want to do is just shoot it.
Yeah.
Forget drip. You just want to, I want to see the ball go into the basket.
Not Ben.
And I've never seen where a guy doesn't want to shoot.
And look, I know
It's
no one wants
exhausted.
to hear this.
Yeah.
I get that, but
Yeah.
Ben is more of like a team distributor. And if you
I
look
agree.
at Seth Curry and you look at Tobias Harris, they both have had career years being around Ben
I
Simmons.
agree.
Sure.
Yeah.
So-
And Danny Green had a decent year.
Danny Green-
And I get that, and I can see because of course he doesn't want to shoot, so he's giving it to everybody else and their mother to shoot.
Can't wait till he
So
comes.
yes, you're going to have your numbers are going to. But it's the old saying. It's like when we're talking about, like people are talking about when the Nets put the team together in the beginning of the year. Like, well, a guy could put 30 points up, another guy could put 30 points up, another guy could put 30 points up. Well, there's only one ball.
That's right.
So I get that.
That's what Ben said.
So of course Ben said, yeah, and I don't want it. Ben doesn't want it if he's on offense, and that's my problem. Like I don't care that he throws the ball out to somebody to shoot who's open and making a shot. But like I said, there has to be some sort of threat of him attempting it. He's not even attempting a layup.
That's why I go back to
That's
the
a
coaches.
scary moment for me. A basketball player, even the worst of the worst, even the like when Sean Bradley was playing, like the guys who were just goofy in their own 2 feet. Boban.
Yeah.
I mean, like these guys.
Boban.
Dude,
I'm like,
Greg Anthony for the Knicks
yeah.
couldn't
Sean
shoot a lick.
would step back at the 3-point line and take some threes. Sean Bradley took threes. Why not? He ain't going to make them, but hell, I'm going to try it.
I'm gonna try.
Yeah, Paul.
One of these-
Greg Anthony couldn't shoot a lick for the Knicks, but he shot.
One of these times he's going to do it. We're going to say,
Exactly. He couldn't
what?
shoot, but he would shoot
Was
the
that
ball.
Ben?
There was times in the game like Ben was out there at the point, nobody's around. I'm like, dude,
Just shoot it.
three.
Just shoot the
I don't
damn
care.
Shoot it.
See, that's where
three.
coaching comes
See what
in.
happens.
It's
You
like,
never
yo,
know. It
call
might
that-
go
What's
in.
the worst
You
thing
might
that's
get
gonna
lucky.
happen?
From the floor, it's just everybody
Right,
yells.
just shoot it. You never know.
And then if it doesn't happen, then yeah, you can start to like. My thing is like there's just no threat, and I don't want
Right.
to belabor this part of the conversation because I know we got to get Paul going here, and I want to. And I'm actually going to ask you, Paul, before you go. I'm going to ask you a question. We'll go around the table. It's not a prediction that you're going to expect. I want to know what your prediction for tonight's game is.
Ooh.
Ooh, well, as right now, we know Irving's out. Okay,
Yes.
Harden is day to day, but you know what? I have all my, like you guys know I bet a lot, and at the beginning of the
No,
season,
not
I
you.
took the Nets to win it all. But here's the thing. Okay, I'm actually calling the Bucks tonight.
Okay.
And I think it's going to be a defensive game. I mean, I think Durant's going to score 40 and easily, but I think the Bucks are going to win 92-89 tonight.
Wow.
I got Milwaukee myself. I said Milwaukee was going to win this series. What, a couple weeks ago? I kept saying that, or a week ago. I said.
So is it dial up, Dave, or I told you
It's
so,
I
Dave?
told you
just
so,
wanna know- I
Dave.
want to know which one.
Well, it's either one or the other. What are you going to
I
be
don't know.
with? It's fine.
Dave, because he's going to continue
But-
to remind you 2 weeks later.
No,
Once
No.
that email goes through.
that's right. I have Milwaukee winning this game. I'm going to say 119 to 111.
Okay.
I'm on the fence. I smell overtime.
Okay.
I do smell some
I think that's
overtime.
A little OT, a little extra basketball for all of us. It
Yeah,
isn't. Hopefully not too much. It's an 8:30 game.
I gotta go Brooklyn because they're home.
Dial up, Dave.
Okay.
I gotta go Brooklyn.
You're on Brooklyn?
I've watched this series because regardless of what the Sixers
I'm not afraid of
may or
them.
may not do tomorrow, I know,
Huh?
if we get past the Hawks, who are facing one of these teams, and I want to know what we're up against. Not that I didn't already know at least a little bit. This has been a Durant-Middleton kind of series.
It has.
And I feel like Middleton might go off.
Could.
Because I feel like Durant is going to feel a little bit of that stamina wear because it takes a toll on you by that Game 7. Ask LeBron James. By Game 7, and you have played at least one or two games with more than 40-plus minutes, that takes a toll on you on that Game 7. That 40, that 13th hour, it starts to wear on you. And Middleton feels and looks still like he's fresh.
Is Durant going to play 48 minutes like he did the other night?
He might have
He's
to.
gonna have to.
Might have to.
Yeah.
Can he?
No, but he might have to. You asked, will he? I said he might have to. Can he? I don't think he can.
Okay.
I mean, this is a guy that has had lingering injuries as well. I mean, that's. But I kind of rephrased the question too, and who would I rather see if we do get past the Hawks? Do I want to see a hot team like the Bucks, or do I want to see the Nets, who are?
I'd rather see Milwaukee. That's just me.
Yeah,
You got to be the best. You have to beat the best. So I'm going to have Milwaukee.
Woo! Styling and
Oh,
profiling
stop.
down the center aisle.
I'm going to
You
have
always be
Milwaukee.
careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
yeah. That's a tough decision, but since the Nets are basically dealing with a lot of the injuries, I got Milwaukee winning tonight.
You got Milwaukee, okay.
I like Milwaukee too.
It's such a coin flip. In this game.
Al,
It's been a great series.
Yeah,
I
Come on.
give the Nets the little bit of the edge just because of the home
'Cause they're home.
court.
Yeah.
But the Bucks have been much hotter lately. But it's the injury thing. I get that to a point, but
Right.
I think Giannis goes off.
we're not dealing with less. I mean, we got Danny Green out. We have a
Good point.
85% Embiid, pending on.
I think
how much we is.
Giannis goes off tonight.
So is Harden out or is
It's questionable.
I don't
It's
know
a
what
game
is-
time decision.
what-
game time?
Yeah.
I still feel like he'll play.
He's gonna play.
Just because.
It's game 7. Of course he's going to play.
Leading you to
And
the
Irvin's
Eastern
out,
Conference
too.
Finals.
Right.
I will say this, and I know Paul has to go. We're gonna win tomorrow. I feel good about that, and then I feel us winning in the
Well,
East. I
there's
feel
one
like- I feel us-
guarantee.
I feel
We know
us winning.
somebody's going to the Eastern Conference Finals tonight. We don't know.
Because
definitely.
I think this will be a great lesson learned on many levels, and yeah, man, I think it's going to be a nice.
All right, then I'll end this off with Paul. Paul, go ahead. Sixers, Game 7. What do you got?
All right. I think the Sixers are going to pull this off. I mean, home court, I think people are going to step up. Okay, I'm going to call this right now. I'm going to say Simmons with a triple-double. Simmons 22, 10, 12.
Ooh, I'm writing that down.
Joey's loving that.
You say
Joey's
22
loving
to 10, 12. All
Yeah,
right.
I like that. I like that, Paul. I like
Yep.
that.
Am I going to see the FanDuel screenshot at one point of this?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, you are. That odds are going to be like
There
a
you
million
go.
to
You're
one.
going to see it.
I got. If
The
I
guru will come through.
if I could jump in, you know it's a good night, Paul, when you see Isaiah Joe and Big B-Ball Paul
Yeah.
in the
it's
fourth quarter.
Yeah.
You
Hopefully,
know it's a good
Yeah.
night.
hopefully it's not just those guys with 3 other
Will,
bench players.
will we see Doc and Al back on home center court tomorrow night?
Maybe.
Doc and
My
Will we see
question-
Doc and AI on
question is
center
this.
court
You're going to see them
No,
again.
you
No,
saw-
their bench usually
no, no,
ready.
That's
no, no. Hey, listen, don't play the Rocky song, all right? I'm sorry,
It's such a bad luck.
right?
Who's coming out to ring the bell tomorrow night? Who is coming out to ring
Ooh,
this
good
bell tomorrow? That's the question.
question.
Larry Brown.
Triple H again. I don't know.
Wait, we lost for that.
No.
No.
That's too specific.
Okay.
Yo, that's a good question. That should be like a kind, like you said. You know what I mean?
That's a
Well,
good
if you ask
Brian
Damon, it better not
Dawkins.
be Stallone.
No,
I
please.
don't want
no.
Rocky, man. They played Rocky at the beginning of the last game.
No.
No more Rocky songs.
No.
man. Nah, I'm done.
Al?
I actually met Stallone and he hates the song. No, I'm just kidding. He doesn't hate the song, but he said when he comes to Philly, he does tire it out a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
You met Stallone?
Yeah.
As he checks the millions in his bank
Yeah, yeah,
account.
When'd you meet
exactly.
him?
You know what I mean?
I worked actually for the Lincoln Financial Center the first year it was open
Really?
as an executive chef there, and they had
Oh, awesome.
in the first. So the first thing they had there was soccer and a Bruce Springsteen concert.
Yeah, that's right.
So I
I
actually got
remember
to meet
that.
Bruce, which,
Okay.
whatever to that point.
You met Bruce too?
Stallone was there in the
I'm jealous.
in the Jeff Lurie's. So I was actually the guy who took all the stuff that Jeff Lurie's
Okay.
thing, so I got to meet them. And
Oh,
Right.
cool, man.
so yeah, that's how I met him. So,
Nice.
So
yeah,
why
yeah.
didn't you talk him out of hiring Howie then? Damn it!
Yeah, well. Remember, it was still Joe Banner then.
Oh,
That's how old I am.
Joe Banner.
Wow, man. You're a
But,
chef? I didn't know that.
Huh?
You're a chef?
Back in my day.
Oh, yeah, my buddy's
I don't
a
do-
chef.
I don't do
Another
that
buddy
no
of mine
more.
is a chef.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
But all right. So you're saying Sixers? You even given a triple double to Ben.
22, 10, and 12.
I
wrote
will
it down.
gladly give
Yep.
Ben Simmons a hug if that happens. I will
All right.
gladly give him that.
Well,
'Cause I
good.
know. Here's the funny thing is, I'm not a Ben get rid of him kind of guy but I will listen to deals. Don't get me wrong. I'll listen to deals with anybody. I'm a businessman. You want to call me up a deal with Embiid? I'm going to listen to it. Doesn't mean I'm going to take it, but I'm going to listen to it.
You're gonna listen
But
to
I'm going to listen to everything. And so, but I'm not saying get rid of him. But because the reason is it's believable, and that's what drives anybody nuts about
Right.
Ben is because that kind of shit can happen, but doesn't always happen.
So right, if he just gives us that on a consistent, not necessarily 22,
Every
but like
game,
16
yeah.
points, 9 or whatever.
I said 15 points
15
a game.
Yeah,
I'll take 16 and 10. I'm good with,
with that defense, you're fine.
I'm happy.
You're fine. I got
What do you
you.
got for Sunday?
Tomorrow night, let's see. Sixers definitely win the game. I'm
Okay.
going to go Sixers 119.
Who's your player of the game?
Player of the game? I'll say, yeah.
Maxi.
No. No. Curry. Curry's my player of the game. Curry. Curry's my player of the game. I'll go with Curry, and I'm going to say Sixers 119, Hawks 111.
Here you
All
go.
right,
You hold
so,
that.
so we're close.
You can hold that.
So
I don't want to hold that.
I got the Sixers winning tomorrow.
Okay.
We're close. 124 to 108.
Okay.
Maxi's going to have a stellar game, but I believe this is going to be a big fella night, and Ben's going to tag team.
You're going to take the
I think Joel
I'm
puts up
smelling
a 30.
35,
I got Joel at 36,
15,
37.
and 8.
Whoa. Ben?
No, Joe.
Oh, I thought you
35.
said Ben
Ben,
35.
too.
I said, whatever he's smoking, I'll take it.
Fist that one.
I'm going to go Sixers, but I think my score is going to be a lot closer than everyone else's because I think this is going to be the cardiac kids all over again because they gave me enough of a heart attack last night. So
You're sitting here with us, so you'd be okay so far.
yeah.
I brought extra BP
CPR.
meds.
I know CPR.
Don't worry.
I do too, but too
Yeah,
bad I won't be
matter
able
of
to do
fact,
it on
I'm
my phone.
certified.
Oh, good lie.
I'm certified.
I know I was screaming last night. I'll be honest with you.
I would have the Sixers 107, Hawks 104.
Ooh, 3-point game, Joey.
I say the same kind of thing. I say it's going to be a 3-point game, and
You do?
I say the Sixers win, and Trae Young misses just like Vince Carter in 2001.
Ooh.
Please go have a graduation tomorrow for
I'll
Game
do
7.
I'll do
I'm
you
begging.
one better.
It's not going to happen.
He ain't going to miss the shot. He's going to get blocked
By Embiid?
by
By
Ben.
Ben.
By Ben?
By Maxi.
Oh, by
You know what?
Maxey.
I'm gonna take it a step further. I'm pumped up right
Look
now.
for Shake to come out
Ben's
tomorrow
gonna
night.
put him in
Right.
the penitentiary, as Cuz calls it, and he's gonna lock him. We're gonna lock him up. We're gonna lock Trae Young. We had enough of you, Trey. You little leprechaun. Had enough.
Your weasel face porcupine.
Trae's 24 points tomorrow.
24.
Trey 24.
He
I,
averages 30.
With
He averages
33
31
shots.
this series.
I was gonna
With
give
33
29.
So you're
shots,
saying
Al.
he's gonna have 24, but he averages 31
With
this
33
year. Okay.
Grab
shots.
his worst
33
game.
shots.
His worst game.
They're gonna be pressed a little bit in this
10 for
one.
33.
I'll tell you, I've never seen a guy like Trey Young just like throw their threes up like he
10
does.
for
It's
33.
insane.
It's
Are you kidding me? Like, this
guy
guy's half
went-
court and he's throwing him up.
It's like
This guy went
Steph
12
Curry's
for-
like
But
body.
did you notice last night? When he tried, like when he went up for the shots, Trey did, right? And he, what do you call it? Embiid was like, no, I'm not going. I'm not falling for it. No, you can fake it all you want. I'm not falling for it.
Maxey did a great job.
Exactly.
Great job, too.
Yeah, I'm not drawing the foul because you want to hit the three. No, it ain't happening.
Thibault got sucked in early in the
Yes,
first quarter.
he did.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing. I'm so sorry.
He's so good at it. though.
Tobias did not foul him
No,
when he came around that pick.
I'm gonna
Al,
be sorry about that because that's true.
he didn't. He just
he didn't touch him.
no.
Nope.
I'm like, what are you looking at?
Nope.
Sixers were playing touch football. The Hawks were playing tackle. There's a big difference.
I'm gonna go with the Sixers win. I'm gonna probably be on more with Marks on this one. It's gonna be much closer. I mean, Game 7. Atlanta is not going to take this lightly. There's not going to be any way. I don't think any way that any of these teams are down more than 10 for any extended
Yeah,
period of
that's
time. It's going to be more defensive. I would even be surprised if they hit triple digits. To be honest
Really?
with you,
Wow.
and if it is, it's just going to be barely at the end with free throws and things like
Things like
that. But yeah, they'll win, and I'm going to go. JoJo's going to light it up.
Love it.
I don't think I can't.
Love it.
I was thinking Curry at first, but I think they're going to press Curry more because of how dangerous he's been the last two games.
Right.
But they're gonna lax in the paint a little
Okay.
bit, and that's where JoJo's going to come out.
Yeah, I think Joel's gonna have a good game
I
tomorrow
think
too.
Curry steps up again, guys.
I think
All right.
Joe wants to have a good
Great
game.
game.
tomorrow,
Let's
too.
do this, Paul. Thank you, buddy. I'm gonna have to let you go on this one,
Thank you, Paul.
and we'll.
Yeah, real quick, I'll give a shout out to my little nephew, Angelo Bernard. It's his birthday today, so happy birthday, Angelo.
Okay.
Happy
Birthday,
birthday,
Angelo.
Turn it up, Angelo.
All right, Paul. We'll talk to you soon, bud.
All right, brother, take it easy. Happy
Take care,
Father's Day,
man.
boys.
Happy Father's Day
Thank-
to you, man.
Happy
Thanks, man.
Father's
You
Day,
too.
Paul.
Yeah. So all right. So that's about. Listen, we're all going to talk hoops today. We all know what's going to happen. The Phillies lost last night. If anybody cares, 5-3.
5-3.
To Gabe.
To Gabe Kapler.
Cut what yard though.
Now,
Dude,
Yeah.
I gotta
he-
say,
here's one question for
Gabe
the
has the
Phillies.
best record. His team.
They have a chance by the end of next week to either be on top of the NL East or
Say this again.
close in more of the
Excuse me?
gap on the NL East.
Why is
Correct.
that?
Why is that? They're 4.5 out, Joey.
4.5 out, and they play a 4-game series against the Mets that are above
And the Mets are
them.
going to roll.
Okay.
The Mets have been on fire, Joey.
Is DeGrom pitching?
DeGrom's. I mean,
you're going to
Syndergaard's
get the
coming back
Grom,
too,
and
right?
you're going to get Stroman.
What about
At least both.
Yeah.
Love his bread.
If it's
Love his bread.
if it's
Toasted?
a 4-game
Are,
series,
are we home, Joey? Are we home or away?
We're home, I believe.
Okay.
If it's at the
It's
Mets,
a
we're not
doubleheader.
winning.
Is it doublehead?
Are
There's
you
a one
calling a
doubleheader
4-game
if it's to
sweep
make
of the
up.
Mets?
No, I'm not.
okay.
But I said we're either going to take the
That's a
NL
bold
East.
statement right there. If that
and
was the
we're
case.
going to by the end of next week
We
we're
could
going to be
definitely make
closer.
more ground. I'll
Yeah,
agree
that's
with you.
that.
Yeah,
and,
okay.
You'll split.
and all things considered,
split.
I mean, Dave's kind of was spot
Dave's
on.
you see Dave's
about
Dave's
offended
by that, by the way.
Well,
I'm
listen,
looking at his eye. I'm
Well,
right next to him.
He's getting angry.
Right there.
he's
getting
throwing
angry.
darts
Dude, I
through his
feel the
eyes.
heat.
Smoke's
Whoa,
coming-
I
the
feel the heat.
Understand,
The
Dave
smoke's coming
isn't
through his
wrong. Dave hasn't been wrong. They're one
my
game
God.
under 500,
Holy
and
Christ.
Dave said they're a 500 team.
That's what they are.
And listen, you haven't been wrong up to this point. And
Coming from
I
you,
still,
coming from you, that's huge.
and still to this point,
Still think
I'm
you're
trying to
wrong, you're not.
understand: did we make the right decision in the managerial choice?
I'm okay with
Kapler
it.
had to go though. He is
No,
way.
no, I'm okay with Girardi. I just don't like the things he
I
does.
couldn't-
at
I
Too
times.
couldn't-
early to
stand
start,
Kapler anymore.
Yeah,
praising
when the-
Gabe Kapler in my eyes.
Yeah.
And play,
I
listen,
mean,
he's
they
in-
are
he's in
above the
San Fran.
Dodgers, which I never thought that would
He's
happen.
in San Fran. His wishy-washy, lovey-dovey.
Yeah, that's California,
It's gonna
He's a-
fly there more.
Yeah, it's a California.
They are playing well though. The Giants are playing
They're
well.
playing very
you
well.
Can't,
I'm
you
not,
cannot
I'm not,
take that
I'm
away
not
from
taking
him.
away from Gabe Kapler.
I mean, you're in a division with the Dodgers and the Padres. Come on, you're
And you're 2 games
and you're
up
2
on the
games up on these guys.
but again,
Come on now, really?
But again, Al, and I raised this last week.
Seriously,
it's baseball. It's 162
I
games.
get it.
Shoes will drop.
I get it.
But
I understand, but here's the thing: they could still go 12 games under 500 for the rest of the season and still make the wild card
Yeah.
because their record is that good.
True.
Now, Dave, let me ask you a question. I'm
Uh-oh.
being serious,
Okay.
and I see. I said this in your eyes. Are you just as upset with the Phillies as you are with the Cowboys? Because the Cowboys haven't won. I'm serious. I'm being serious. Like, are you?
No.
Are you
I
just
love how he
upset with
kicks
the
him in
Phillies?
when he's down.
I'm
That's why me and
upset.
Dave are like best friends now. Do
No, I'm upset with the Phillies because of the contract from Harper.
you want to hold this?
You know, no.
Oh,
You know,
Whoa.
and I'll tell you why. He has
Time out.
He has not stepped up to this contract.
Yeah.
He has
He's
not.
only in his third year.
It doesn't. Yeah, it's third year, and you would think, what's he doing?
And actually, outside of
He has not stepped up to this contract.
Dave,
he
you're
had
not
his
wrong.
best years.
You're not
Tell me I'm wrong.
Years left.
Wait a minute.
Tell me I'm
Hold
wrong.
on.
Oh, come on.
Not
man.
wrong.
If you buy, listen,
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna.
hold James.
I'm going to use a great
James,
argument.
he has not. 3 years he's been here. What's he done?
Oh, good.
Have we made the playoffs since he's been here, James? Not once.
I mean, come on.
Not once.
Is there 8 other
It's a
guys?
13-year
I
deal.
get it.
Can I say this?
I get it.
Ben Simmons gets a lot of heat.
Simmons he's in the playoffs.
Simmons gets a lot. Bang. I'm just saying.
I mean, he's not wrong. I'm not saying he's not.
Yeah,
Listen,
I'm just saying.
Would I like to see more from him? Yes. But his first year was his best year here.
Okay.
We got what we... Listen, you get what you pay for. Everybody thought, just because, and especially in baseball...
Agreed.
Listen, a career year, a Hall of Famer, if you bat 30%, you're doing okay.
I get it.
You know, if you free throws 30%,
You're not.
You're not.
getting
Okay, I get it.
You're Ben Simmons.
Here's the
like Ben
thing.
Simmons,
Okay, 5 years ago.
okay.
5 years ago. Let's go 5 years.
Sure.
When he was a national.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Was he dangerous?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Phillies now, right? Pitchers know how to pitch him. They know what he's going to do. He's not a great right fielder to begin with. And you gave him $330 million. For what reason?
Because he's Bryce Harper.
I get
They
it.
gave it away.
But he's... Because his name. I get it. But,
Yeah.
but is he...
They made it already back.
You
in
can
tickets
honestly
at
sit there and
Jersey.
tell me that this man
I
is...
can't tell anything. It's only 3 years into his
3
contract.
years?
And one of the years was a 60-game season, don't forget.
Thank you.
That's true.
But
Okay.
it might as well be 2.5.
Listen,
you.
Hold on. The first full year was the statistically best year.
Okay.
Okay. This year's still going on, and he's been injured a little bit.
True.
Get that?
And he's not bad and
this-
terrible.
And his 60-game season last year, he wasn't bad either for 60 games.
It wasn't.
It wasn't. If you remember, the bats were actually the long ball was there last year. Long ball's not there this much this year.
Not this
for
year.
everybody. It was the bullpen. I mean, there was no
Still is in this
if
right
the
next to-
bullpen was like somewhere in the middle of the
2009
road,
bullpen.
they would have made the playoffs last year.
Okay.
No doubt.
You
No
have,
problem.
You have a first baseman who's atrocious. Okay.
Okay, I agree.
Reese Hoskins. Okay, so that's
Trade
that's
him
Bryce-
tomorrow, and I'd be happy as a clown. Okay.
But how's that Bryce Harper's fault?
But I'm saying,
yeah, but how's that-
because
yeah, right.
you go with your guys.
Bryce Harper play first base?
It's a what's the word I'm looking for? Help me out here, Dame. It's like a domino effect.
Yeah, so yeah, it affects.
If your players play better,
Right.
you play better.
But what he's saying is, and I kind
So
of.
why is Ben Simmons not shooting better free throws if you have guys who
Okay,
can shoot 70?
different
no,
sport.
No,
different sport.
My point is if at one, why is the conversation okay if at one point it's the guy's fault, another point it's the team's fault?
No.
There's got to be something in
Okay.
there.
No,
I mean, I'm just saying.
I'm really
both of you
confused
are
right
right.
now, so-
I'll just say this with Harper, and I kind of agree with Dave. Now, here's the thing. I'm kind of giving everyone a mulligan because of what happened with COVID last year.
Sure.
But I think what he's saying, and tell me if I'm wrong, is that you're talking, this guy's is a marquee player, without a doubt, right? We know that, Rookie of the Year, so forth, the whole nine when he was with the Nationals. I know he got hurt this year, right?
Right.
No, it wasn't his fault. Gets hit with the pitch or whatever. But it's just like it's inconsistent.
That's what I'm saying.
It's inconsistent, and I think that when you're looking at the payroll and you're looking at what he's supposed to bring to the table,
See, that's
you're not seeing the consistency.
Damien hit the nail on the head. In baseball, it's the payroll. Everybody
Okay.
thinks the payroll, and your payroll reflects what you play. You would think that's how it works. There's only one professional sport that works that way. I hate to break it to you guys, and that's golf. You get paid
Right.
by the way you play, and that
I think
is
tennis
it.
too, right?
Shout out to
Tennis,
Bryce
yeah, you're right,
DeChambeau.
tennis.
I'm sorry, guys. I know I flipped out a little bit, and I apologize on
No,
that.
I
And
saw
I'm,
that.
I'm
You're
sorry.
apologizing.
No, I'm
Because
No,
that's
you
just
saw
not me.
No, dude.
But when I see Harper,
don't
I
have to worry about
I like
that.
Harper. I don't have a problem with Harper. I like him a lot. I really do. But dude, you got to step up better at what you're doing.
No,
All right.
and by the way, you know
I-
what
I-
the problem-
I get that.
You're expressing what I felt, and I'm being serious. Like, because it concerns me. I thought I said, Dag, what is Harper doing? Like,
First
what is he
off,
doing?
I'm going to put Dave in his place.
You always
I'm
do.
going to put you in your place right now.
You always do.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Ding.
Okay, listen. You want to trade? You want to trade Reese Hoskins tomorrow?
Absolutely.
Yesterday,
Okay.
yesterday he wanted to trade.
He's the leading average batting for average on our team. The leading home run getter.
How many home
on
runs
our
does he have,
team.
Joey?
What?
How many home runs does he have?
13.
Okay.
Don't
He
mind
has-
me. I just work here.
You know. Yeah, he's the leading RBI getter on this team.
He's a streaky player.
Now
Let's just throw that
listen,
out there.
the whole team.
Nice play yesterday
the
at
whole,
first, by the way.
The whole
Looked great.
MLB has been their batting average has been down.
We should do a game.
So
together,
seeing
by the way.
238, it just seems horrible. I mean,
For him?
for anybody,
Okay.
for anybody. If you're batting 238, I don't. You're batting eighth. Like, that's terrible.
Okay.
But here's the thing, he's doing some of the other fundamental things. If he's the best hitter on your team, you're not going to trade him.
Joey,
That's the bottom line.
you can trade him tomorrow and get something for him.
No. And the fact that this
I
guy is
don't-
going to be the cornerstone
I don't
of
agree
your
with that.
team
Who, Reese Hoskins?
going
If you traded him last year, which you should, Joey, do you watch his stats? They deteriorate every single year. He's last
Yeah.
year he did Hoskins.
not as bad
Listen,
as others.
I get the whole Hoskins thing, and he's streaky. I mean, big time. It's disgustingly streaky, and I get.
He would be.
I would listen. I don't think anybody would lose sweat over Reese Hoskins got traded if it was for something worthwhile, like because you could easily move Alec Boehm over to
Right.
first base.
Sure.
Yeah.
You
Right,
could-
which
you,
they wanna
you got
do.
guys like
wanna do
Luke
that.
Williams and Torreyes and all those
Right.
guys who can move to second, third, and all that stuff. So I'm not worried about that. If they can get somebody for him, move him. Go right ahead. I'm not like sold on him.
Right.
He has those moments he is when he's hot. He's hot.
Yeah.
When he's cold, he's.
What was he? 1 for
You can
32.
feel the chill.
One for 32, Joey.
No, he's
It was two-
No,
two
two
for-
for. He got one nice yesterday. So
Okay.
he's 2 for like 30, almost 40. So 30.
I need that, don't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want that on my team.
Is
But just so
is-
you go back to your Bryce Harper point. So third best statistical year, or from a run standpoint, was his first year in Philly.
Okay.
Okay. He had 1 year. He had 118 runs. That's whatever. That's never going to happen.
Okay.
Again. He had 103 the year before that. 98 the first year here. He had 41 in a 60-game season. So if you extrapolate that just 3 times the amount, which is still not a full season, it's his best year yet. 120.
Okay.
All right. He's already on 31 this year,
Okay, maybe I. Okay.
and he hasn't played every game.
Okay.
So
he's on 31?
relax, dude.
I'm.
It's not your
So-
fault.
so-
No, I see. I know where Dave wants.
I know where he's going.
Dave wants
I love messing with
Harper
him,
to
though.
be. You want him to be our Mike Trout.
That's what I'm looking at.
I understand that, but he is not
Even-
a Mike Trout.
Even Mike
we knew
Trout's
that
not
walking
Mike Trout.
into it.
Mike
Even-
Trout's not
I was
Mike
going to
Trout.
say that.
Even
Even Mike
Ryan
Trout's not
Howard.
Mike Trout.
How much is Mike Trout done? Let's just
Even
put this
Ryan
out there.
Howard.
I really like Mike Trout. What has Mike Trout done for Angels?
Nothing.
Nothing.
But see, all right, so Al, baseball is one of those sports, where clearly it's individual play, but it's a team sport.
Yeah.
It's sad to me that kids don't know who Mike Trout is. And I'm only going back to my childhood on the Frosted Flakes, and used to get these baseball cards, man.
Yeah.
You would get Jim Rice and Catfish Hunter, and these so the sport was better promoted than what it is now. And it's
Baseball. They're hurting. That's why they're making all these rule changes to make it more exciting. If anything,
sure.
it made it worse. And listen, I'm a baseball purist. I always
I
tell
love
you.
baseball.
I like it
Love
for the way
So,
it was.
so you
love
hate
the
you hate
game.
the you hate the guy on second
It's
base.
not
I'm
the
not a
same.
big fan of that.
You guys know
Not
I
a big
love this
fan of
game
that.
I'm
so
not
much.
either.
And I
Yeah.
watch it so much. I love
not a
it.
purist,
I
but I
love
don't like that.
baseball.
Yeah,
I love the game. I love to watch it, and I just.
I don't like the 7-inning doubleheaders.
No,
don't
well,
like that. I think that's worse.
And I know
that's
Joey.
fine.
I know
Yeah,
how, Joey. I know your point. I know
I-
your point.
I-
The second base guy. I
The
get it.
7-inning games are annoying.
I've come to
You are?
grips with the universal DH. I've come to grips with that. Just make it happen. If that makes it a little better because
I agree.
you don't have a guy batting .80 that's not a center fielder.
I
You're
think
wasting,
you'll
you're
have
wasting,
an
you're wasting
even-
an at bat when you have
you'll
guys on
have
second
it-
and third. You know what
You'll
I'm
have
saying?
an evening out of some of that offense in the league overall.
Well, that's what.
if
listen,
you have the
yeah.
DH. in both
offense is
leagues.
what's going to make baseball better. Okay.
Yeah.
Because look at the pitchers duel they had.
the other day
Was it
with
the other-
Wheeler and
Yeah,
DeGrom.
yeah. No.
What was it?
Oh,
Where-
Kershaw.
Kershaw.
Right.
It was a long ass game. It was a good game from a
Yeah.
guy who likes a good old fashioned.
That was probably the longest Wayward game
It
I've
was a
seen
good
from
game.
him.
Defense played well. There wasn't any bad. But guess what? A young kid is not going to be excited about that.
So let's take the 4 major sports. Let's go back years ago. I remember when hockey there was no overtime.
Right.
It was tons of ties.
Right.
Sure.
So I think within the past 20, 25 years they implemented the
The
overtime.
shootout came back.
2005, 2006.
Yeah.
All right, so-
Is that how long ago?
So even
Long
before the
time.
shootout, but
Yeah.
they had
Yeah.
overtime.
think it was that
so they
long.
had overtime.
Continuous
Doesn't seem
They
like
implemented overtime, then they came along with the shootout.
Yeah.
Basketball, for sake of argument, we could say the 3-point shot has elevated the game of
Absolutely.
basketball.
Absolutely.
Football, they made it so the receivers can get freer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Baseball is on this numbers things with these launch angles. It's enough. One of the beauties about the sport is that for me as a fan, when I'm watching, and someone broke it down to me over 25 years ago, and I said, I watch baseball, but it's a little boring. He said, nah, man, it's not boring. He said, because that pitcher, he's trying to figure out what pitch he's going to throw, right, James?
The mechanics,
and,
yep.
and the batter's deciding, Al, if I'm going to swing or not. So I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I got it. So once I clicked into that, that's how I watch the game. Right?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
it's like a chess match.
I-
Right?
The one thing I love
that's
about-
it.
I love
And that-
chess.
and that's why baseball is hurting right now because it's too thought provoking, and
Right.
nobody wants to be thought provoked anymore.
Right. It's enough to think about what the pitcher's going to throw, the batter's going to swing. But when you're talking about Reese Hoskins, I need you to take that curveball at a third-degree launch. I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
I'm a history
Dude,
guy.
what is that?
A batter doesn't have time to that.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm a-
the
I'm a-
baseball
The
goes.
analysts are screwing up the game.
yes.
The baseball goes so fast to a point that the vision it's so fast that it's actually invisible for a split second during batting. That's how fast a baseball is
Dude.
thrown.
I'm a history guy, and I had a professor that one time told me that history doesn't repeat itself. That's an old cliche. It's cyclical. It's basically it goes right back around.
Like a circle.
And so
I
that's
believe
why
that.
people think it repeats itself, but it's because it'll be different occurrences. With what Damon said about like the 3-point shot being a part of the NBA right now, it's not like it
was
never
there.
existed.
Yeah.
It existed with like a Pistol Pete and like
Bill
Larry
Lambert used to
Bird
shoot threes and people got mad at
stuff
him.
like that. Like, but now it's cyclical. It comes back around. With guys now with baseball with the analytics, it's kind of like those guys back in the day, like a Babe Ruth or like somebody that analyzed each pitcher's pitch by seeing it.
Okay.
That's why people like say you don't want just a manager that's just the analytics.
Right.
A guy who actually sees the game as it happens.
And the other thing too about that is that I always bring this up, but Dan Poisek nails it on the head. He says they're not throwers. They're pitchers. They're not actually no. They're throwers, not pitchers.
Right.
That's the thing that's really screwing
Yeah,
up the game
yeah.
because everybody's throwing 100 miles an hour,
Right.
and that's why their arms are like. That's why there's like so many injuries. Pedro Martinez said it a couple days ago. I mean, there's not one great guy that goes 110 or 115 innings, not innings, but pitches because his arm is tired, and you see a lot of the pitchers like throw fast and. That's why you have so many of Tommy John surgeries. It's
Right.
unbelievable.
Sure.
Oh,
So
there's,
just like-
there's parents nowadays who are getting their kids Tommy John surgery before they hit
I
college.
heard about that.
I
Yes.
saw that.
So just like Al said, he likes the part of the game in baseball where damn, I lost my train of thought.
The thought-provoking
The-
part of it.
the
yeah.
thought-provoking
the
part of it.
strategical part of
Right.
it.
Right, the strategical part of it. So now I missed the part where you said you like a good pitching match. That's
Like
what
a
I'm
pitcher's
saying.
duel, yeah.
Pitcher's duel.
Yeah.
I love a
so
pitcher's duel.
as much as I love a
Love
good
it.
pitcher's duel, I love seeing an inning where runners are being moved.
Sure.
With
Makes-
stealing bases and getting those nice singles and those doubles.
Oh, listen, there's nothing more
Not the
exciting
fly-in
than
homer.
Right, I missed, and I
A
love the
seven-
homer.
a seven-run
but I,
inning
but I,
is
but I
also
love I
more
love those
exciting.
base.
J-Roll
base
said
runners
something
being
very
moved.
prophetic during last night's game. He said, the art of stealing in baseball is gone.
Who said that?
Dude,
J-Roll.
Ricky Henderson
Yeah.
was sweet
That's
to
what-
watch.
He
And
was.
I agree with
Come
that
on,
because
man.
if you remember the 08 run, Shane Victorino and Jimmy Rollins, at the 1 and 2 spot,
Right.
they made it an art form with how they would be able to, keep those pitchers looking back
Right.
and not just
So
focusing
he's
on
not going to
chase.
steal a two here and there, right?
Yeah.
Shane. Yeah.
It was,
maybe.
see, the thing is,
Here and there.
one thing people
but you're
don't
right
understand,
about those two guys. You're
Yeah.
right.
base stealing
You
is
know,
not
like thunder
about
and lightning.
Yeah.
base stealing is not all about speed. Because if that was true, Roman Quinn would every
Yeah, right.
one time
This
he
is
got on the
true.
base, he would steal every time.
Right.
It's not about speed. Okay. Does that help? Absolutely.
Sure it does.
It's all about timing, knowing when to go. The release of the ball, like the pitcher's hand, if he's got a slow release, a quick
Right.
release, the catcher behind the plate, who's back there, somebody who can
The
pick you up
batter,
very
who's
easily.
the batter. You
Yeah.
got to figure out the batter as well.
The
Because
second baseman is
Yeah.
he the kind of guy who does he like to come off lefty? Listen, is he right-handed or is he left-handed? You look at that. If he's throwing one side and you come in and slide under the tag, that's a big difference.
Sure.
There's a lot of, and that's where
lot of stuff that goes into it,
The
yeah.
strategical end of things, and that's why baseball is never going to win. Think about this. Let's break it down. The NFL has, by far of all four major sports, has major control over
Over everything.
everybody's sports. They make the draft like a spectacle.
Yeah.
To the point that certain
the ratings
networks
Hell,
they
do a-
made
a
they made
week-long
the
thing.
schedule release a spectacle this
The
year.
ratings on the draft are
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yes.
It's,
But so because you know why? This is why, and I'll show you why. Let's look at the NFL draft and let's look at the MLB draft. You get guys who are 17 years old who you may not know. Guys who are drafted this year, we not be talking about for 5 more years.
Right.
Guys who are drafted in the NFL today could be playing day one. So it's like Christmas morning. I open my present up, and then I get to play with it. Or I get to open my present up and I have to wait 2, 4, or 5 Christmases from now to use it. Like that's the big difference there. Like everything about baseball is a long game.
it's a long.
You have to wait for things to produce, to
Right.
come out. I mean, like I said, guys are batting, normal batting average is 25%. That means every time every 10 times they go to bat, they're only hitting 4 times.
Yeah.
Like that's what you're dealing with.
Or
And you
3
get-
out of 4, 2 out of 4.
and you get major slumps. If guys got in slumps in basketball, football, or hockey the way they do, they are riding the bench very quickly. In baseball, it's a different story. You got to ride the storm with that.
Right.
And
Because
that's
it's a
what
long
makes
season, long
baseball
game, yeah.
different. And it's hard because we live in a right now, give it to me now kind of world. Fast food, drive through. Like nobody wants to wait. And
But-
kids these days aren't going to want to wait.
But it's
and
what I-
everything else is outpacing them. So it's almost impossible for baseball to keep up with it.
Right.
Crazy as it sounds, I know it always goes back to basketball.
Screw you, by
That's
the way.
part of my Ben Simmons theory. I have to have some patience with the guy. But going back to with the baseball, thinking about baseball, that I think kind of frustrates me. I can't say this, speak for Dave, with the Phillies. I love the Harper signing. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I
I liked it too, but
what bothers me
Not
with this
really.
organization,
No, I did.
They've yet to come up with players. I mean, Baum is going to be okay. Baum, excuse me, and Reese Hoskins. If you could get some nice, prospects for Reese, I would listen.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. Is,
I would listen.
And that's really hurts the Phillies right
They
now.
need to replenish that
There's
farm
nothing.
system.
We have nothing.
Nothing.
Our cupboards are.
well, our
dry.
farm system's garbage. It's not very good.
That's
Janikowski,
frustrating.
whatever the hell his name is, was batting in the 8th inning last night. I'm like, this is what we have on the bench?
You know,
Yes.
and listen, they're finding a
That's what's
couple.
frustrating.
I don't want to say diamonds in the rough there, but they, you got Luke Williams, you got Alec Boehm, you got even Torres, guys who are playing, but they're all utility guys.
Yeah.
They're not starters. Nick Maytime, he had great little streak, got figured out. Now he had to go back down to figure out how to curveball.
Right.
So this to me,
It's, by the way, it's called a championship
Ship ring.
Just so you
Oh,
know.
is that what that's called?
yeah, it's a little heavy. It's a little heavy for
Your
your
guys
arm.
are a little smaller and maybe it's a little faded
Yeah,
now,
it's a
but
little
yeah,
heavy.
just so you know.
Little heavy for your arm.
I got 5 of them home. Yeah.
If he touches them, they'll disintegrate. But
Right, they probably will. No. I don't.
So with the Phillies, what with this farm system? I'm going back. I'm going to drop a name.
okay.
Is it the Don Brown syndrome?
Could be.
Because all we heard, right? Al, all we heard was
point.
this kid's untouchable.
Well, Don Brown screwed Don Brown.
Right, but
And he
prior,
even admitted it.
but
Yeah,
prior to him
you're
coming
right.
up, he was untouchable. There was several offers made
The-
for him, James,
the
and they
Phillies-
turned him down. And he gave us. He was like, "Oh, what? Okay, I see why we
He gave us
I
1 month.
also go back.
One
I
June.
No, and he
One
got
June.
He got an all-star. He was an all-star.
I also
1
go back
June.
to Mike Taylor when we had Mike Taylor in the minors.
Don Baum.
And we were like, he's untradeable. And then I think it was like either the Nationals or like another team. It came and they had this offer for like a pitcher.
Right.
And we're like, oh, yeah, we'll jump on that. But we're giving Mike Taylor. And like, but he's like our third best prospect in the farm system. Why are we just giving him up for a pitcher?
Right.
Like, now we're just depleting that position
Yeah.
from where we had it.
Well,
Yeah, we did
listen,
it with-
drafts, prospects, trades, there's always things that go along with it that make it difficult, unless you're trading for, a known commodity.
Right.
But that usually means you're giving up a lot of unknown, possibly good commodities, because the problem with the commodity in the senses of a draft prospect is it's the cost. They're cheap. And you get them for a while, and you have all these cheap draft contract or prospect contract. They're making little or no money, and they're producing. Just like the NFL. I mean, a quarterback, they say once they sign them, they're worthless usually. Outside of Tom Brady's. But baseball's the same way. But you live in a world where we want it now, and I don't blame them. I mean, look at the Phillies. What they did, they had 4 aces at one point.
They did.
If you ask the guys to play, there was 5 aces, but there was 4 aces. And they still didn't win.
Going back with the
and
Doc
what did they
Hollidays,
give up?
right.
And they haven't replenished at all since then, and that kind of falls in the McClintock, McPhail scenario.
That's because during that series, the pitcher, I can't get his name out,
Which
but
one?
blew the game when Ryan Howard gave us a lead against the Cardinals. And
Ray Halladay?
no,
Chris Carpenter.
what was the other pitcher on our staff?
Lee?
got him.
Oh, Doc.
Yeah.
Cliff Lee.
Cliff
yeah.
Lee.
Cliff Lee.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, man, he played.
Oh, yeah, he did play,
that. We just taking the lead. And he just,
I mean, here's the way
it was no big deal to him, Cliff Lee.
I always look at
Stole money.
like MLB prospects as like going to like the store and getting those
He
like scratch off
disappeared after the
tickets.
2000.
Yeah.
After that.
You're gonna
Yeah.
hit
Yeah.
every once in a while, but
Yeah.
you're gonna
Literally
miss more
disappeared.
times than you
And
hit.
sometimes you're going to hit an extra scratch-off ticket versus, $10,000. There's a
Right.
big difference. So, no, I mean, that's like with anything. There's plenty of players that come in and they'll never sniff.
No, I guess what I
field.
want. I want playoff baseball. We haven't seen since
So you
2011.
just reading my mind.
I-
Is this a
I
playoff?
agree
That's
with you.
that's
Al,
what,
is
that's
this
what
a
I'm
playoff
frustrated
team?
with.
Is this a playoff team?
That's what I'm frustrated
No.
with. We have not seen the
I don't
playoffs
think
since
so.
2011.
Listen, here, let's think about this for a second. Dombrowski came in,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So the day before Dombrowski's here, we'll say November 30th.
Okay.
Okay. Did anybody have any hope that this team was going to even be a 500 team?
No.
Well, they were 500 with Cap.
Hmm?
Weren't they 500 with Cap?
No.
No, I'm talking about the year before.
Oh, I'm sorry. My fault. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. No.
No, I mean, last year was the short year.
No.
So nobody thought that, right?
Okay.
Everybody thought this was going to be just kind of a gimme season.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Dombrowski comes in,
Right.
makes some moves,
Right.
but it's just like with the Sixers. Like, here comes Daryl Morey comes in, and they make some moves. Nobody thought Danny Green was a missing piece. Nobody thought Seth Curry was a missing piece.
Even Howard.
Even Howard. Like, but there's been. Listen, they did much better, but they had superstars.
Right.
The Phillies have Bryce Harper, and that's about it. Aaron Nola could have been a superstar. Oh, and Zach Wheeler. But they just brought Zach Wheeler. So I mean,
Right.
my point is, they are not one piece away, two pieces away, and the problem is we're going to only be able to buy it at this point because there is nothing we have to offer them.
You're locked into Riamuto.
Yeah,
and
which I'm okay
Harper.
with.
That was
I'm
a five-
I'm,
that was a-
I'm fine with
Is that a
it.
5-year deal?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
I think with a 1 year op. No, it's fine.
and he
It's
could be our
fine.
first
Fine.
baseman.
Could
at
be.
one point.
Right,
But
sure.
but it's like, I guess my question is, okay, so let's since you brought them back up, so at least with the Sixers, no matter what we say, you can clearly see where they didn't do this with AI. They did, but they took its pieces away. Where they're consciously building around Embiid
Right.
and Ben, right?
Sure.
You can see that,
Yeah.
right. So with the Phillies, it's like, okay, you signed Harper, which was the big splash, right? I can equate that to them signing Tomey to open up, Citizens Bank Park.
Yeah.
When we knew Howard should have come up. Okay, so Tomey plays a couple of years,
Right.
does what he does.
Sure.
We bring up Howard, so now you got the three-headed horseman, if you will. So, but in this situation, who are your guys? Okay, it's Harper and JT. Bomb,
Aaron Nola,
Nola.
Aaron Nola.
Wheeler.
Boom, we don't know yet.
Bone, we don't know yet.
Yeah, it's too early.
So I guess still got Segura sitting there,
Luke
too.
Williams, we don't know yet.
Segura's having a good year, but is Segura to you?
He makes too many dumb
missing
errors.
piece?
Segura's, yeah, today he's hot, tomorrow he may not
Make
show
two
up.
errors.
Segura with a good team around him is great. Segura being our leading hitter.
Plus, you're missing
Not
Didi
good.
too. That hurts.
Didi.
They said, I don't even, what's the deal with Didi?
Listen,
He may
here's
not
the
even
thing:
come
is
back, right?
the Sixers and Phillies took a page out of the same book. The Sixers brought in guys who have past success,
Right.
put them around guys who are good, and it's paid off so far.
Sure.
Phillies tried the same thing. They brought in guys with some high velocity, some past success from a year or two prior,
Right.
not last year. It hasn't paid off.
No.
I mean, look at the whole bullpen. I mean, everybody from there in that bullpen are guys with past success that they brought up. Chase Anderson, guy with past success, they were giving kind of a second chance, blew it.
Right.
Did a bad job of doing it. Vinny Velo, guy they always thought they were right. We were all ready to cut him off. Now he's our number 3 guy.
What about Bradley?
Failed miserably.
Who?
Archie.
Archie's just been injured too much.
Well, Archie Bradley's not even. I don't think.
But Archie Bradley was a good pickup. I
Yeah,
mean, he was a good player to
pickup.
bring in.
Okay.
Hector Neris is what he is.
He's
Heart
off and
attack
on.
Hector.
Yeah.
He's Hector.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's off. He is what he is.
Right.
He's not a closer though.
No.
You got Ranger Suarez sitting there. He does-
Ranger Suarez, he
Yeah.
had one bad game, but he's been playing.
He's been
well.
pitching pretty well his
Yeah.
last couple
Who
hours.
was the pitcher we got from the Yankees 2 years ago that got hurt?
Oh yeah, yeah.
No, he never played.
He's a reliever.
Robertson.
Robertson.
Roberson.
Yeah.
Roberson.
Yeah.
Robertson.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think we
It looks like
all-
Robinson.
Guy never touched the field.
Never
No.
touched the field.
No,
No,
we-
I think he did a preseason
He
game.
had
maybe?
he had Tommy John,
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
and he
Right.
never played.
He
Never got a
touched
chance
the
to
field.
play.
Nope.
And that's
Well,
that's
they-
the name of the game.
Well, they thought. The Yankees pitched.
See, but I go-
pitched him too.
But
They
see,
got-
I go back, and Al, you brought up with the Sixers. Okay, so now moving forward, the Sixers literally 2 years in a row drafted 2 good players. Thibault in the first round, late in the first
Finally,
round,
yeah.
and Maxey, right?
Yeah.
So that are impactful players on the team. The Phillies,
Have it.
we haven't.
And that's the thing with the draft.
that's
Remember MLB
Te-
draft. You're drafting 17-year-olds.
Technically,
I get that.
Yeah.
But so he the kid. I can't get. I'm sorry.
Which one?
The one we drafted we drafted, brought him up and sent him back down.
Moniak?
Mickey Moniak. So
You've been doing okay, right?
it's been about how many years now with him? 5, James, maybe?
4.
Something like that.
Four?
That's
4 or 5 years.
Here's where this is where the organization fails. This is where the
And we
organization
could have
fails.
drafted Aaron Judd.
Well,
Judge,
my
I'm just
point
saying.
is this is where the organization
Aaron
fails.
Judge?
They don't cultivate.
I'm in.
we could have drafted him, I believe. I could be wrong.
The Phillies do not cultivate well. They take way too long to bring guys up. I mean, Howard and Utley were guys that should have been up here sooner.
Sure.
Maybe not Utley.
and
was
and
24, but
just
still.
think about this, Al.
Your
If
point is
Tommy
right.
doesn't get hurt, Howard stays down even longer.
Good point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just so happened Tommy gets hurt. They had to bring him up.
That's been one of the problems with.
Well,
Sometimes they
Yeah.
they hold on things.
Big
for
man
too
got a
long.
shot.
No, I'm happy, but it's
Yeah.
like, whoa.
And the Don Brown, you brought that up. I mean, I was saying before we even had that June, if somebody's offering something for him, take it.
Yeah.
I saw it. This guy had this cocky swagger, who thought his shit didn't stink.
Right.
Did you go down and see him play in the minors at all?
I watched him play there. I've been.
Oh, you-
I,
okay,
oh yeah, I
so-
went to Reading a couple times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was that
I used to
like?
go to Reading a lot. Believe
So
it or not, back
I've
in
gone
the
to a
day.
lot of Reading games. Yeah.
And then but when he was up here, he just had this swagger like I didn't have to try. It's just going to happen for me. And
for that.
everybody, when he had that breakout June and became an all-star, I'm like, guys, calm down because let's see if he can sustain this.
Right.
Everybody was like, I'm not going to get.
I'm gonna
into
blow-
Well, it's that old philosophy.
Yeah.
Once the pitchers get to know you.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
blow your mind, Dame.
Sure.
Uh-oh.
Aaron Judge drafted 31st round in 2010 by the Oakland Athletics, and then they traded that to the Yankees
Wow.
Yeah, we could have had him.
Crazy.
for a first rounder in
I think
13.
I think one of the things teams should do
Talk
when they
about
draft
Tom Brady
guys.
syndrome.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Listen,
Yeah.
you could sit here in almost any draft and pick things apart. Like you said, Tom Brady. Everybody passed up on Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Everybody passed up on
Aaron
Well,
Rodgers.
Tom Brady was
Russell
sixth round
Wilson.
round pick, wasn't he?
Well, no,
Yeah.
DK Metcalf.
So
Yeah.
Reed,
99th overall.
Reed was trying to go get Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
That's legit.
Yeah, but when did they draft him? When was he drafted?
I forget what happened. McNabb is still on the team at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Andy Reid and
Yeah.
we know Andy Reid loves quarterbacks. He's developed some of the greatest quarterbacks that ever played the game.
Brett Favre?
Yeah, and so he tried. I forget what happened. I don't know if Joe Banner or Jeff.
I know they tried to get him, but they Seattle snuck up and took him.
Seattle snuck up and took him.
Yeah, but what
something
round did
happened.
they take him in?
Seattle got him in.
My
second,
point is that means there
was
was,
the third. Was it second?
Second or third.
but that means there was plenty of
75th overall.
Is
each
that what he
team
was?
passed on DK Metcalf. Everybody passed on him at least once, right?
So did us.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the Eagles. We
we
did
took
too.
J.J. Arcega-Whiteside over him.
Yep.
And that's, I mean, listen, any team you can go back and look. There's a draft.
I mean, we could have Frank.
2012, Al. He was
Frank, we
2012,
could have
yeah.
Frank Thomas.
Yeah.
Went on to
Yep.
play.
There was a
Big
baseball
Hurt.
draft I always bring up. I'm trying to remember
Big
what
Hurt.
year it was.
Big Hurt. Yeah, could have been a Philly.
Where there's like it's very unheard of, but the top 7 of the top 10 draft picks in this baseball draft all went on to be like big names.
Mm-hmm.
And then we drafted number 8 and got somebody who's like,
Yeah.
I don't even know if
Yeah.
he even played
Yeah.
baseball. I don't even know his name.
Yeah.
My point is that you could do that with any team, any league, any sport, and go back and play what could have been if we
Sure.
drafted correctly.
But some of the obvious ones,
We all
like
can play
DJ
what could,
Metcalf,
yeah.
like that. Metcalf was like, "Come on, man."
You know, like take the JT thing. We got rid of 6-toe, and everybody's like, "Well, what about 6-toe?" I'm like, well, "What about your 7-toe? What about your 8-toe? Who cares?"
Good point.
I'll chop off my 5th toe for Ramuto. You know, I mean, it's like I don't care. But my point is that's a commodity that we needed, and
Yeah.
I'm glad we had him. And 6-toe hasn't done much.
he had a D in a start, but then he
he's
kind
been
of
injured,
off.
and that's about it. Like
Yeah.
that's baseball. That's
Hey-
sports in
hey-
general, but that's baseball at its finest.
I guess.
Hey, Joey, are you surprised that Buster Posey's actually doing as well as he's doing? Joe?
I'm actually kind of surprised,
Yeah, he's playing.
honestly, because I was like, when they compared him and JT, they did the
Right,
side-by-side
Yeah, I saw it.
comparison.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like Buster being back to being Buster.
Yeah.
I thought he was kind of put a fork in him and he's done.
Right.
Because certain catchers, they hit a certain limit.
Right.
Yeah.
And the only ones I can think of that didn't have that limit was Yadier Molina,
Molina.
Mike
Yeah,
Piazza,
I love Molina. I'm a
and
Not,
I'm blanking on the other
Mr.
guy.
Drew
There's
Carter.
a-
Carter used to play for the Expos, and then he
Gary Carter?
Gary
Yeah.
Carter.
Yeah.
Gary
Gary
Carter?
Carter. Yeah. Gary
So-
Carter.
Yeah, no, catcher longevity is
thank
very
you.
few and far in
Yeah.
between.
He was a Met too.
Especially
Yeah, that's
when
what I'm
he's
saying.
on
somebody
Somebody
asked-
asked-
somebody-
yeah, he won with
somebody
the Mets,
posed a
yeah.
question on radio a couple weeks back talking about Buster if he's a Hall of Famer, and
Yeah.
how is he not?
I agree. He's got to be.
He's come back the way.
How
he's
many
get off
how
that
many years
injury.
has he played now?
Oh my God, he's been in the league
I mean,
12?
for at least 11.
Yeah,
12,
I mean, the last
maybe.
time when San Fran beat us in the playoffs, the last time we were
Right,
in
right.
he was
He
playing.
was there, yeah. Yep,
So he's got to be up there, and he has 3 World Series
Come back
championships.
from that
He
severe
was like
injury.
6-time All-Star.
Yep.
He has like at least 1 or 2 Golden Gloves.
How is he not? It's
How
it's,
anybody
it-
thinks he's not?
It's something ain't right.
I
no.
mean, right there, like that's why I always like. I'm not
Buster
going to
was
get. 'Cause I know
drafted.
we only have like a minute left,
Yeah.
but I've always said there should be a mathematical equation for All Stars. Like we always say, for Hall of Fame.
Sure.
Because like the NBA Hall of Fame, everybody kind of laughs at it because it's a
Right.
little bit of a joke.
Right.
Like I think there should be some voting, but that should be like 25% of the grade.
Right.
There should be all right. You put in championships will have so much weight. Depending on what your position is, if you're a quarterback,
Sure.
your touchdowns,
Right.
your yardage, your pre and postseason wins,
Right.
your postseason wins versus regular season wins. There should just, you plug all that in. It gives you a number. Then you use then that gets you into a running. Then you use the voting aspect.
Right. Sure.
It's just it's too much of a.
I think Buster's definitely a Hall of Famer.
I think Buster
without a
Posey's a Hall of
doubt.
Famer.
Drafted 08.
He's
08?
He's a guy.
Wow.
He's a guy.
and he's still in the league. It's
Even if
amazing.
you don't follow the Giants, you know who he is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you just know who he is.
And like I said, those stats right there I gave you. That's just some of
Yeah.
them.
I just thought it was
And
kind of cool.
He's a career 300-plus
Yeah.
batter.
I just thought it was kind of cool when Buster came to the plate.
For a
and,
catcher, that's
well,
absurd.
and
Yeah.
him and Ravito were sitting there talking. I'm like, that's two great catchers sitting right there. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. You know, that's baseball. That's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
you know,
that's the way it's supposed to be.
exactly.
Yeah, that Giants team back in 2010. I mean, I was a little bit of a closet Giants fan because it was just like I liked Tim Lincecum and Buster
Right?
Posey.
How could you not? I mean,
Lincecum's a guy who
Madison
fell off.
Lincecum. That's a name I
Yeah,
heard
he
in a
fell
while.
off.
Dude.
He
Madison
was almost
he fell off the
Bumgarner.
face of the earth.
He
had
was
some-
almost a Philly.
He had some-
Bumgarner
He
fell
was.
off too. Bumgarner's like
Bumgarner.
somewhere in obscurity
He
right
was
now.
almost a Philly a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
All right, guys, I want to thank our sponsors
Beard,
making
Brian
today's
Wilson.
show possible. Let's start with fantees.com. Fantees, you use that 20% off promo code of Edge of Philly and get all your awesome Philly sports gear for you right there with 20% off using the Edge of Philly promo code fantees.com. Pair it with our sweet EOP hats, $19.99 plus shipping and handling. Don't forget our network here. We have the Broad Street Bully Podcast, Birds IQ, Philly Press Box Radio. Don't forget Lax Philly by clicking on the old lacrosse tab at EOPsports.com. Wednesday night show with Fred, myself, and Joe. Usually 9:30. It's been a little off. We'll see how like the schedule.
Sixers
we'll
are
see
making you guys.
If they win, let's see how the schedule lines up with that. And of course, you guys here every 9 a.m. doing an awesome job kicking Saturday sports talk off. And I don't want to forget PhillySportsTrips.com. Guys, July 21st, we're going up to the Phillies Yankees game.
Sounds like a plan.
It's going to be a great time. $189.
Yes, I want
$189.
Yes.
That's food. That's beer. That's your ticket to the Yankees game. That's the bus trip. That's the party, the pregame,
Can't
the
beat
whole
it.
9 yards. $189. I could spend that parking down in Citizens Bank Park.
It's
I've
true.
done it. Between the first pretzel vendor and the
With refreshments and too.
you can do it. PhillySportsTrips.com. They have trips like that. So if you're like, I can't afford a big getaway, or I can't get away because work,
not
a
bad.
day trip. They have one too for Giants games, for the Jets game, bus trips.
Nice.
It's under $300
bad.
to get a ticket and then get a game and a party
And your food.
And your food. It's you can't beat that. But the big one that they're selling is the first time the Eagles are going to be in Vegas.
Yes.
Okay, it's coming in October. Now the price is a little different. You could build your price. If you wanted to buy your plane ticket somewhere else, buy your plane ticket somewhere else. Get your room, get your Eagles ticket that way. John Dorenbos live show, special show just for the people going with PhillySportsTrips.com.
Wow.
John Kincaid from 97.5 will be be
Nice.
They have a trip to Dallas. You can go to Dallas if you want to, if
Would
you have
love
like
it.
some reason to sit on the ground.
Been there many times.
Yeah, I mean, great trip. You can hang out. I think PSG is going to be in that one.
I miss my AT&T Stadium. I gotta be honest with you.
They're going to Denver. They're going to Atlanta.
I know a friend of mine would like to go to that Denver trip. He's a big Denver fan.
And listen, best prices out there, and they always put these extra additives in. There's parties in between. It's not just airfare, tickets, hotel. That's not it. There is so much things going on. Special private parties. They did the Miami trip 2 years ago. Guess what? There's like a booze cruise that you got. It was all part of the ticket. You
And with the
can't-
Vegas trip, they're going to have an option if you don't want to go to the game.
Just go to Vegas.
That you could. There's a bar, an Eagles bar in Vegas.
There is?
That they're renting out
Really?
the bar.
Wow.
Yeah. They do this whole thing. It is done right. It is super affordable. And like I said, you're like, I can't go away for a week. They have a trip coming up in the beginning of July. This is an awesome trip, and I wish I could have went. It's just timing for me wasn't great. They're going to both Chicago and to Boston.
I saw that. Yes.
One trip pays for your flight from Philly to Chicago, from Chicago to Boston to back home, with tickets for all 6 games, with food, party, beer. everything going on. Or if you say, you know what, I can't make Chicago, I'm going to go to Boston or vice versa, you can build that package yourself.
Sure.
PhillySportsTrips.com. I'm not just saying it because they're sponsors. It's freaking awesome.
And the drive to Boston isn't far if you don't know the airline.
Yeah, exactly.
6 hours?
You want to save it?
Nah.
3, 4.
About 3.
3.5, 4.
Yeah, 3.5,
Yeah.
it's not bad.
Sorry about that. My fault.
And
it's all right.
I've used them. I personally used them.
Well, traffic.
Like I said, you're like, I want to go to an Eagles-Washington game. You want to go to the Washington game end of the season? Under $300 will get you there.
Hassle-free sports watching. That's what Philly Sports Trips
And
is
you
all
can
about.
afford it. And then, do you want great presents? If you haven't got your Father's Day present yet,
no.
$189. Get the special dad something.
No, I got my present already. I did.
Oh, did you?
I did. Yes, I'm going to Tampa when the Cowboys play the
Nice.
Buccaneers.
Oh, good.
You get to see that game?
You get to
I
watch
do.
that slaughtering? That's awesome for
Well,
you.
I'm going to the game because
Joey, what's the spread on that game? I know you're taking, Joey. What's the spread?
I had a ticket for plane flight that was that I didn't use, and it's still good to October.
Okay.
So I'm using that to go to the Tampa Cowboys game in Tampa.
So you're going to ring night. So you're
No,
going to
no,
ring
no,
night.
Yeah,
well,
it is ring night.
yeah.
Yeah.
I should play it on the Barney team.
Yes. Well, here's the thing.
think like all
See, he has to be near ring,
Here's the
but he
thing.
can't get a ring,
mean-
but he has to be near the ring.
My wife Amanda's brother lives down. He lives in Florida. He's about an hour and 15 minutes from Tampa Bay
I
Stadium.
understand.
Okay.
So I'll be staying at his place.
I
at the game.
understand.
Yes.
Nice.
So like I said,
Is he a Cowboys fan?
whatever trips you want to take,
Hell no.
PhillySportsTrips.com has it.
Again, to just make sure you
Oh, Joey.
Philly Sports. I'm only going to say it one more time. PhillySportsTrips.com. You got to check it out.
You said you're going to ring night.
I am going during night. Yes.
Guys, I had fun hanging out with
Had
you
a
today.
great time,
Hey,
man.
great
That's awesome.
time.
DK will be
Thank
back
you.
for all those people like, where's DK?
Yeah.
He will be back.
Happy
Yep.
Father's
He's
Day,
on
guys.
a little Father's Day getaway.
Happy Father's Day
whatever
to all everybody out there.
Happy Father's Day, all you guys. I'm Big Al with the rest of the crew here at Pattison Ave. We'll see you guys next Saturday. Go Sixers.
Go Sixers!
Show, man. That was awesome, guys. You guys are on fire.